and they can find an alternative that is commercially viable. One such alternative could be to use N-oxosexing technology, which identifies the gender of a future chick inside a fertilized egg. Such a move would mean that those male chicks will never be born, but the Humane Society is still unhappy with the way hens are treated by many hatcheries. Paul Shapiro, that organization's vice president of farm animal protection, said that in many ways the male chicks that die are the lucky ones compared to the females that lay about 270 eggs a year in cages. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the fight over new federal regulations on advice on investing for retirement is moving from Capitol Hill to the U.S. court system as the number of lawsuits attempting to stop the rule grows. Wall Street-affiliated groups, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, last week filed a legal challenge in a U.S. district court in Texas to the Labor Department's new fiduciary standard that requires financial brokers for retirement products put the client's best interest ahead of their bottom line. Since then, a collection of insurance companies sued in the same court on Wednesday, contesting the rule over its treatment of fixed-indexed annuities. They said in their filing that the rule, effective this week, will upend the regulatory scheme that has for decades governed the market for fixed-indexed annuities. The filing said it would also necessitate an overhaul of the way in which these valuable products are sold and threaten the availability of these products for the very people the rules are intended to benefit. In April, the Labor Department released the rule for financial brokers who sell retirement products after a bruising fight that spanned years. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
It's a landmark day in the March for Equality here in America. Congress passed the Casinos for Fairness Act today, which gives every mistreated group in America the right to open a casino.
It worked with Native Americans. It will work for the rest of the country. If our society has kept you down, you will get a casino to pull yourselves back up.
Veterans will also have the right to open a casino as a replacement for costlier benefit programs.
I think it'd be nice to have a casino. I mean, I'd rather still be able to walk, but, you know.
While the majority of the country is hailing the Casino Act as a step forward, many Native Americans are objecting to the law.
We are still the most disadvantaged group in America. So all that we ask is that we be allowed to open whorehouses and start legally selling cocaine.
The bill raised the question of whether immigrants should be allowed to own casinos. After much debate, the legislature decided that they would not, but they will be able to sell sliced mango on the street without a vendor license.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and it's the live Saturday edition of the program. You can join us here, and we'll give you the toll-free numbers, the Skype username that allow you to bring up whatever's on your mind. That's why we call the show Free Talk Live. With you in studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
Of course, you can bring up anything also on our website where you get to create the content. It's a Reddit-based site. It's totally free. Well, the front page is Reddit-based. The rest of it is not. But there's a lot of content there, and it's all completely free to you. You want to download archives, watch us live on the webcam. You can do that all for free at freetalklive.com. To start things out here tonight, Mark, you found a video on Reason.tv. This is Reason Magazine's TV side of their operations.
Yeah.
And
Reason's sort of it's sort of an objectivist, libertarian website.
Are they objectivist?
That's where they got their start.
Ah, okay.
I wouldn't say that they are now.
Seem more libertarian than anything else.
I would agree.
And this is it's not an actual Hillary advertisement, and apparently it's not parodying a Hillary advertisement. That's what you told me, Mark. But I'd be interested in knowing if there's anything like this out there that's serious. Let me play the audio, and then you'll know what I'm talking about here.
We've reached a milestone.
A milestone.
It's a historic moment for our country, and I am so proud that a woman
will be in charge of our nation's secret kill list.
Will preside over the warrantless mass surveillance of ordinary citizens.
A woman will direct our drone assassination program.
Finally, it will be a woman.
It's about time we had a female overseeing the huge expansion of regulatory burdens.
And the huge expansion of entitlement spending.
Of military spending.
Of executive power.
Of federal debt.
It will finally be a woman who helps destabilize the Middle East.
It's finally a woman's job to disregard the Constitution.
To keep throwing money at education policies that never yield results.
To tell blatant falsehoods about transparency while punishing whistleblowers.
At long last, our wealthy,
vindictive,
paranoid,
narcissistic,
power-hungry president
will have a vagina.
A vagina.
Will have a vagina.
This changes everything.
Oh, that's some brilliant comedy.
Yeah, it's great. It's good
but
stuff.
the thing is, it's probably close to reality. There probably are. I mean, I'd be shocked if there really isn't a real Hillary advertisement out there like, a woman will lead us, a woman will this and that. I mean, I would be surprised. You shocked me when you said this wasn't an actual parody.
Well, it's not a parody of, I don't know.
Of something that exists.
Okay, how about this? I don't watch all of Hillary Clinton's campaign crap, so I don't know if she's got an ad that's like that.
Okay.
But I can tell you this, that whatever this is brilliant.
It's hilarious. And it's definitely brilliantly satirizing real life.
Yes.
Whether that becomes an actual Hillary ad or something similar to it becomes a Hillary ad, I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Yeah, I mean, my stance on this is essentially, if you're voting for somebody because of an accident of birth, right, like, you shouldn't have a vote. You're that kind of ignoramus. All right? Look, I get it. I understand why people do it. I even one of the things I sort of celebrated with Obama back in 2008 when he got elected, and I'm not saying I celebrated when he got elected. I'm saying one of the things that I was like, oh, well, here's one of the pluses. One of the pluses is that we don't have to hear any longer about how color dictates your life in America because a black man has made it to the office of president. Boy, was I wrong. Right? Like, I was 100% wrong. Yes, I'm afraid, it's my opinion, that race relations are not as good in this country as they were 8 years ago.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you feel that way?
I didn't hear as much about it. Frankly, ultimately it comes down to what you hear, right?
Well, okay. I mean, just because you hear something in the news or whatever,
are
or
we
on
hearing
some
a lot
kind
about
of talk
Eskimo
show,
rights?
Or on some kind of talk show, doesn't mean that people aren't getting along worse than previously. I mean, has it been that you've had any experience where you feel that race relations, whatever that means, meaning people,
what could it possibly mean?
Meaning people being angry at one another because of the color of their skin or something like that. That doesn't
all that I see on all the things I see on television. I don't experience that stuff in my normal life. No, but
television's not a real. Television doesn't accurately depict reality, does it?
No, but it can create it to some extent. Right?
Well, that's an old argument, whether or not the news is sort of creating itself in a way. The chicken or the egg is the news representative.
Let me ask you this. Are women going to be happier? Are women going to be better off in 4 years if Hillary Clinton is elected?
That is a good question, and the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. And what is it that if you think women will be better off, what do you think Hillary is going to have done to make that happen? What specifically do you want to see occur? The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. Skype username is lrn.fm. Oh, my God, I just accidentally hit the drop button on Carl. I want to apologize to Carl, who was on hold there, wanted to talk about Hillary. I totally hit the drop button on you, dude. So
you're going to try to take the call and you accidentally...
Yeah, I was going to hit the air button, which is right next to the drop button.
Yeah, it happens.
And so please call us back at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. Sarah in Albuquerque is on the line, and now the phone box is not responding at all. So that's always a problem. I don't know if we actually have Sarah on the line at this point because we may be having some sort of internet difficulties. Nonetheless, Hillary, let's get back to
one of the things I wanted to bring up is that, well, things aren't – I can look at statistics, and I have brought up an article. It's not the newest thing, but it's not a year old, about how things have been for blacks under Obama. Now, you can say that this is George Bush's fault for the economy or whatever the claim is, and that's fine. I don't propose to know. Yes, obviously, a sitting president has to deal with the economy that he was given, but unemployment for blacks is significantly higher under Obama than it was under Bush's presidency. A 28-year high, double what it was under the Bush presidency, and you can claim that was a holdover. Poverty rates for African Americans have become worse over the past few years. It was at 25% when President Bush was left office. It rose to 28% by 2013. There's justice. Obama signed the Fair Sentencing Act in 2010, which narrowed the penalty between crack cocaine and powder cocaine. Now, that's not actually something that was done for African Americans, but will affect them in all likelihood, is the claim.
Well, crack cocaine affects everybody.
Agreed. I
get it. A lot
of
people that do crack.
It's just a way of distributing cocaine. Income inequality between blacks and whites is now at its widest point in 25 years. Under Obama. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that if you hire somebody for the job because of an accident of birth, that you may get the exact opposite of what you are hoping to achieve.
Well, it's interesting because, somebody
hold on, real quick. This is a very important point. If you hire somebody because they are black or a woman, you have done the exact – as far as I'm concerned, your act is just as reprehensible as hiring somebody because they are white or because they are male. Now, white and male are bad things today, and black and woman are considered good. We want to increase the diversity.
I don't consider that way, and they're all human beings to me.
That's exactly right. That's my opinion here is that we're looking at people as human beings.
And the thing I love about this Reason advertisement, this parody, is that it really goes after the state. Ultimately, it makes it crystal clear what the president really is. He's the head of a criminal enterprise that kills innocent, peaceful people all around the world and imprisons peaceful people here in the United States. That's what the president is. That's what Hillary Clinton, that's what Donald Trump, that's what, whoever it is that ends up getting this election, winning this election, is going to be. And somebody might believe that because Hillary's a woman is that she'll bring a motherly attitude to it and she'll be more caring. Well, no, she's likely, and Walter Block suggested this, she's likely to want to prove herself as tough as a man and maybe even go ahead and invade more countries and bring more war to the United States and beyond. The toll-free number tonight, you want to share your thoughts, 855-450-FREE, but that may not be working. If you can't get through there, call us at 603-435-1105. That's 603-435-1105. Skype is also working at Skype username LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom. And with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
You can watch the LRN Studio Cam and chat with other listeners anytime at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and we have had some phone difficulties here tonight. I realized that I gave out the phone number for our backup lines here in the studio, but we never actually fixed the backup lines since the FBI raid a couple of months ago. And so we don't have any backup lines. We actually do have a couple I could give out, but at this point our toll-free number is back. So thanks to the board ops over there at the Genesis Communications Network for getting things back up and operational.
Free Talk Live, the only show that's edgy enough to have actually been raided by the FBI.
That's got to have happened to – maybe it hasn't happened to somebody else. So anyway, yeah, you can call us up toll-free, 855-450-FREE. Comments are welcome on, Mark, your question about Hillary. Now, obviously, we don't know who's going to win in 2016, but
and we are not advocating for a particular candidate to win.
Nope. I would not want Hillary, and I wouldn't want Trump, and actually I wouldn't want most of them. I don't even want a federal government, but there likely will continue to be a federal government, and someone will be named the president of that federal government. If it's Hillary, are women going to be better off in 4 years? I believe that was your question, and then I added to it, and further, if you believe women will be better off, what specifically are you looking for Hillary to do that would make women better off in your mind, the toll-free number, it's now working again, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
So, also, if you've been helped out there when it comes to, say, health care by the federal government, maybe you've missed the health care deadline and you don't have any form of health care right now, well, you don't have to worry because Liberty Health Share has an answer. Liberty Health Share offers an affordable health care option that allows Americans to enroll any time of the year. For those of you who have already enrolled but aren't satisfied with what you've chosen, or it's too expensive, Liberty Health Share is worth a look. They allow Americans to control, manage, and direct their health care, and yet still be in good standing with the Affordable Care Act. Members are exempt from the tax penalty and mandates imposed on individuals for not having health care insurance, thus giving you freedom from insurance. Liberty Health Share empowers their members by giving them the ability to choose any doctor or hospital across the nation. Memberships are for individuals, couples, and families, offering a variety of options to best suit an individual's medical needs. And it's significantly less for our family than insurance. And our family, really, it isn't optimal because they have this family plan. You can have as many kids as you want under a family plan. We only have one. It's still less. So if you're a freedom-loving American looking for contract-free health care, then this is for you. For more information on how to enroll any time of the year, call 855-585-4237 or visit libertyhealthshare.org to request a free estimate. It's 855-585-4237, libertyhealthshare.org.
So are women going to be better off if Hillary Clinton is elected?
I also said
4 years?
happier, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I wanted to know whether women were going to be happier, too.
I guess you could be better off and not as happy.
I don't know if you could. I think that happiness is a strong part of better off.
I think so, too. Let's go to Cynthia. She's in Myrtle Beach. Again, toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Cynthia, you're on Free Talk Live listening to WRNN.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, Cynthia. Good. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to voice my opinion about Hillary Clinton. I am a white, well-educated veteran of the United States of America. I'm a patriot, and I love my country. And I can't imagine anybody, no less a woman, voting for this despicable person. She is a liar and a traitor. And with the FBI investigation, I mean, this is like...
But aren't all politicians liars?
Yeah, but
it's kind of a synonym.
Not all of them are under FBI investigation, first of all. I don't understand it. And like when people ask women why they're going to vote for Hillary Clinton, they said because she's a woman. That is not a good enough reason to vote for the President of the United States. That is ridiculous.
Right. I mean, there are reasons. People have given me reasons that they want to vote for Clinton. And I think that's fine. Go ahead. Whatever your reasons are for voting for whomever, I don't care. Don't spit into the wind. That's my advice. But, when they say that they're going to vote for somebody based on their gender, I just hear how despicable that would be in the other direction. Well, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because he's a man. I mean, who would say that?
And there's actually two other points that I need to make.
Go right ahead.
She is for allowing hundreds of thousands of Muslim refugees into this country. Okay, Muslims do not treat women properly. They treat them like third-class citizens.
Well, that's false.
It's usually cultural, and I'm not sure how Syria is.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
It sounds like you've been getting your information about Muslims from Fox News or something like that. You're just wrong about that. There's different people that have different beliefs that call themselves Muslim. There are some extremists who may adhere to the beliefs you're talking about.
Let's not forget that it's been Muslim.
They found 5 extremists in the Syrian refugees that are already here. So, I mean,
5?
How are we supposed to vet them?
Out of how many?
How are we supposed to vet them? But I know,
5 out of thousands?
Bringing them in. But if they keep bringing them in,
wouldn't you want somewhere to go? I mean, look, I'm no fan of Hillary, and I don't know what her views on anything are. I don't really care because I'm against the state. But wouldn't you feel better if you had a place to go if you were being persecuted by some terrible government?
Well, there's plenty of friendly Muslim countries that they could go to, and the Saudi Arabia, one of the biggest. They have plenty of room for them.
Why should someone who has Muslim beliefs have to go to a Muslim country? Why wouldn't a supposedly free country be a welcoming place for people of all religious beliefs?
Well, because Because they're not assimilating here. They
Actually, that's false.
So,
first off, we read some statistics last week that, in fact, assimilation is occurring. But I would argue that the problem with assimilation comes down to welfare and government entitlements. So when you give somebody money so that the wife can stay home, the chances of her assimilating are low. If, in fact, both people in the household have to get out there and work with everybody else, assimilation gets higher. So I would say that the problem, especially in Europe, is the entitlement programs as far as assimilation goes.
Well, absolutely. And that's another whole big issue that we can't even go into right now. I mean, it is going to cost money to bring them here, and I'm sure that they're not just going to go out and get jobs. We're going to have to support them for a while. You know what I mean? So it's like,
well, actually, the numbers don't bear out what you're saying.
It's like 9 months.
After 4 years, they looked at a different, several groups of refugees that have been here for a few years in the United States, and I believe it was 90% were employed at over 30 hours per week after 4 years, and after 1 year, it was like 70%. So it's actually pretty good, all things considered. Thanks, Cynthia. Appreciate it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. But don't worry. It's likely that, the political candidate of your choice will do all kinds of terrible things around the globe, and therefore there will be more refugees that are wanting to come here.
Yeah, well, I think it would be... I think it's difficult to lay the Syrian thing directly at the door of the United States, but
you don't think the United States destabilized the region?
Iraq, certainly,
yeah.
And then thus allowing ISIS to take hold. But to some extent, that was coming from the Assad regime being more tyrannical than it should be. Those kind of things. I'd say that it's it plays a part.
Of course, it's also true that people who are bombed by the United States probably wouldn't want to come here. But no doubt. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. You can join us.
Maybe they want to come here really badly and harm us.
Well, that's
Don't forget that U.S. foreign policy had something to do with what occurred on 9/11.
And Hillary Clinton is definitely going to continue U.S. foreign policy of invading other countries and occupying them, nation building, taking sides, foreign aid, billions of dollars of that. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
The final phase of extermination is set to commence now. And as population die-off becomes evident, you know it is the time of punishment in all that is written. The cover for mass die-off is evolution and global warming frauds, also used as false proof of their Christ. They are from the lines that were disinherited 2,000 years ago. Now they claim to be his Christ based upon blood type, DNA, and long lifespan. Go to unveilingthem.com. That's UNVEILING them.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices.
Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for lrn.fm in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering open bazaar hosting. Go to agoristhosting.com, click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting, that's AGORIST, hosting.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything you want here. Live Saturday edition of the program. We do have Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. We have toll-free numbers at our 855-450-FREE. We played an advertisement. We'll replay it here in a little bit when we get a chance. That is a parody, brilliant parody of real life. I don't know if it's parodying an actual advertisement yet, but it's certainly parodying real life, where people are saying they will vote for Hillary because she's a woman. And, Mark, you had asked the question, and we've yet to get an answer for this question, is will women be better off? And didn't you said you added, will they be happier?
Yeah, happier or better off.
Better off if Hillary's elected after 4 years. And I wanted to know more about why that would be the case. What specifically do you want Hillary to do that you think will make women better off, if you believe they will be better off? The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We go to your calls and thoughts here. Stefan is in New Jersey. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Stefan.
Hi.
Hey, you're listening to WPG. Go ahead.
I think you could look at her foundation and understand that anything she does is not really for other people's interests, it's for her own.
Now, your phone's a little muddy, but it sounded like you just said that anything that Hillary Clinton does is not for other people's interest, but for her own interests?
I agree with you. I think you have the right idea when you say that.
Well, that's what you just said. I just restated what you just said. And certainly, as a politician, she is out for her own interests, as well as the interests of the people who are funding her campaign, as, well, pretty much every politician does, Republican or Democrat. So that doesn't make her special.
Right. I feel sorry for the American public that they have to choose between a person with, evil tendencies, self-absorbed tendencies.
I can't even understand a word he's saying at this point.
He's not a fan
I'm sorry,
of Trump
Stefan.
either.
Thanks for the call tonight. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Let's go to Carl in New Jersey, hopefully with a better phone. I don't know how the phones are there in New Jersey. Hey, Carl, we can understand you.
Okay, good. I'm on my cell phone.
All right. It sounded like that guy was drowning in the garbage down there.
I know. It's from the high taxes from New Jersey, maybe. But, Hillary... But anyhow, Hillary, people I talk to say it's time for a woman president, and then I'll say, why? What are her accomplishments? And they'll say plenty. I'll say name one, and they can't name any. But and then you go to the ones that'll say, well, a woman's more compassionate. They won't send their sons and daughters off to war. And I'm thinking, Hillary, she's not compassionate.
No, she seems like a cold, calculating person to me.
Yeah, to have risen to the heights that she has.
You have to be.
You'd have to be. But what that statement says some really cold things about men, doesn't it?
Which statement?
The idea that men would send their children off to war. I mean, what man listening to me right now wants to see his children get killed? I can't imagine there's any.
None of them. And then I heard this week on the news, Hillary has enough electoral votes already to win. I'm thinking, what? We haven't voted in November. There's no electoral votes yet.
A delegate.
Yeah, right. Delegates, yeah, but not electoral votes. And I'm thinking they're already trying to say she's won already, and I don't think so. And
the numbers I've seen is in independents, she's doing worse than Gary Johnson, the Libertarian. The independents are leaning towards Trump, and you got to dig down for these numbers. Yes. There's no doubt about that. Republicans are very wishy-washy on Trump right now, and either one of two things will occur: either Trump will be able to get all the Republicans to rally to his side, or he will fail in doing that, and that will make the difference in him winning. But according to the numbers today, independents find Hillary Clinton more distasteful than a minor party candidate.
Right. And then you have the Clinton Foundation that pretty much I read. She sold her country out to get donations from foreign leaders, and that's despicable. I think it's true what I've heard, what I read, and it's like we don't need. Look, I don't care who's in the White House. I don't care if it's. I want somebody that looks out for our country. I don't care if it's.
Well, one thing's for sure: it's gonna whoever wins is going to be someone who's
going to use the power to reward their friends and punish their enemies. And at this point, Hillary Clinton has shown herself to be excellent at that.
Let's go to. Thanks, Carl, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Let's go to Jay. He's in Indiana. The toll-free number here 855-450-FREE. Jay, you're on, and you're listening to WIBC FM.
Yes, I'm Ellen.
Oh, you're Ellen. Well, hello, Ellen.
Sorry. No, I'm not Ellen. I'm Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you were Ellen.
No, she said she's on.
No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Now, if Hillary gets it for just the fact that she's a woman, consider all of the Kardashian shows, all of the girls shows that say Mean Girls, all of those ones where the woman has shot the husband for no reason at all except that he won't give her all she wishes for. There we have a Hillary. So if she'll throw her family and everybody else, because we're the American family, under the bus, what can I expect from her? Nothing good. And you guys brought up a point about...
What's the part about throwing her family under the bus? I didn't quite get that.
Okay. If she only wants to satisfy her desires of power and management and control, because I'm a pioneer type woman. My dad taught me to hunt and fish and take care of stuff, so I can do what I have to do to survive. And what's she going to teach us? How to do your nails perfectly, and how to
I don't know. Is she that kind of gal?
Well, I don't.
She doesn't do anything for herself.
She's having prettier and prettier pantsuits.
I don't think she drives. She doesn't know how to drive. I believe I read that somewhere.
Well, I got to say that this is probably the hardest part.
What's that have to do with pantsuits?
This is.
She has to.
Go right ahead.
She is not a person who cares about the American people.
I would concur
no politician does.
I would concur with
Thanks
you
for the call tonight,
on
Jay.
that one. I think that it can be very difficult for women in power to sort of figure out what to wear and things like that. So my mom was the second field engineer for General Telephone and Electronics in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to her last night. And so if any man on the planet should be a feminist, it should be the son of that woman, right? Well, what she said was, she managed to rise to power, to the position that she did based on her performance. People,
sure.
The men were undermining her on a regular basis, didn't think she could do the job because of her gender, and she just went ahead and did the job.
Yeah.
She doesn't have, she has no love for Hillary Clinton. She's of the opinion that it's about performance, but she did say that she felt like it was unfair in the areas of like dress. What was she supposed to wear? A man can get well dressed pretty easily. He goes to Men's Warehouse or Joseph A. Bank, buys a relatively cheap suit, wears a white shirt and a colorful tie. Bam, he's done. Women, on the other hand, it's much more difficult for them to find the right clothing to be taken seriously. Secondly, she said every time she asserted herself, she was called a bitch. And that can't be, that's a difficult area to compete. So that wouldn't be a particular area where I would look. But at the same time, all my mother ever wanted was to be able to perform based on something besides her gender. Yeah. The idea of voting for a president because of their gender, she finds repugnant. Now, this is the kind of feminist that you want, one who actually did the job. She's not an academic. She didn't go to school and then, tell other girls how to get out there in the world and whatever. She's an engineer and performed as an engineer because, in spite of her gender.
Hillary Clinton is not a role model. Hillary Clinton is not a role model. She cannot relate to normal people. I forget where I saw it, Mark, but I could swear to you this woman cannot drive. She's been driven around her entire adult life.
I like it better. My wife drives generally.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here and also call us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Your thoughts on will women be better off if Hillary is elected after 4 years? We'd love to hear from somebody on that. It's Free Talk Live.
At Van Dyke Mortgage, we would like to thank our military veterans. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. For your service to our country, the Veterans Administration or VA loans are available for active, non-active, and retired veterans who meet the established requirements to assist in buying or refinancing a home loan. The most notable features and benefits for those who qualify are 100% financing, no monthly mortgage insurance, a variety of terms or loan types, reduced costs for disabled veterans, and no seller prepayment penalty. At Van Dyke Mortgage, we work hard to be your trusted mortgage advisor and can help analyze your personal situation and give you advice that matters. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com. That's VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
I just got off the phone with New York. We are the #1 network in the world. And it is an honor to stand before you at such an exciting time. We're stretching boundaries that will irreparably alter people's perception of what they are willing to watch. And our next season will offer tantalizing programming that plays seamlessly into the desire of our viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you just a taste of what ODS has to offer.
You know the rules. Grow a pumpkin or go home. Here's the twist. Only one of you has the real pumpkin seeds.
Are you a pumpkin or not?
You call yourselves pumpkin growers?
I know I didn't get the pumpkin seeds. I dug in there. They're bean sprouts.
Starting a pumpkin alliance. Anyone grows a pumpkin, we split the money.
Get out of my patch.
The
This is the Onion News Network.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what's on your mind here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in studio tonight, Ian here.
And Mark.
I still want to hear from somebody. At some point, I hope we get someone to answer your question, Mark, because I think it's an interesting question. It's about Hillary as the possible future president of the United States federal gang. And the question is, to those people who believe that voting for a politician because of their gender or the color of their skin, in this case their gender, is somehow a good thing to do, they might be expecting something to happen for them. Like they might be thinking that women will be better off if a woman is president. If you believe that women will be better off after 4 years of a Hillary presidency, we want to hear from you as to why that is. The toll-free number.
Well, how would they be better off?
Right.
And
why and how?
What do you base your opinion on? Because I did read some statistics, an article talking about how things are not better for African Americans now. After many years of a Barack Obama presidency, and I think that many people voted for Obama with the expectation that life would be better, and I don't think no evidence of that.
So, again, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. If you like Free Talk Live and you appreciate the work we're doing here, please understand that we could use your help directly. The advertising model still exists for talk radio, but now thanks to the internet, we can cut out the middleman and go directly to our fans, the people that love Free Talk Live, and ask you to back the show, to help us get on more radio stations, to help get on more satellite signals, more internet connections, bring the ideas of liberty to people all around the globe. If you want to help us with that, please become an amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. It stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's you helping us for $5 a month. And you can do it with any major credit card through PayPal. You can use Visa or MasterCard. And you get perks like access to the AMP-only podcast, the AMP-only Facebook group, and more. Go get the details, and please get signed up. It makes a big difference for us when you do at amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Tim. He's in Indianapolis listening to WIBC. Hey, Tim.
Hey, how you doing, folks? Hey, you guys were asking if we'll be better off or the women will be better off with Hillary if she was elected president. I really don't see it. I really don't. Maybe some prenatal care for the women, but I really don't see it. Her biggest push was the same wages for men and women to be equal. Well, how do you do that as a president? You can't control that.
No, that's right.
I mean, if my 4 employees that I have, how do I pay them differently? First of all, they're in sales, so you can pay them differently. What they sell is what they get. But I mean, there's no way for her to regulate that through the federal government. If that is the biggest stimulant of socialism there is.
I suppose that she could advocate for and use the bully pulpit to bring back sort of the Equal Rights Amendment that sort of barely almost passed in the 80s, but managed to get stopped. I guess she could advocate for it, and the president is a big advocate if they advocate for something, I suppose is what they would claim. Now, there have been articles on both sides that I've read as far as this gender gap as far as pay goes, and both of them can make some pretty persuasive points. But here, what I think the most persuasive point against the gender gap is this. If there is a group of people, regardless of their gender or whatever they are, that are competent, more effective, and better employees generally, and you can get them at 80% of the price of a regular employee, let's go and snatch those people up, shall we?
Yeah. But the end result is then you've got to look on the other hand. As far as the unions, they're all paid equally.
Yeah.
If you've got a female truck driver, she makes the same as a male truck driver.
If she's part of the Teamsters, but there's not, union drivers are going the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah, a lot of drivers are independent.
A lot of.
It's 80%. More than 80% of union workers currently are government employees.
Yeah, exactly. So those workers are paid equally, or they should be. If not, then the government's responsible for that.
The women are overrepresented in the federal government.
Yeah, exactly. But the end result is, if I own a business, which I do, you can't make me pay someone the same thing. All I got to do is change the job title.
And if they did, let's say for a second that there was a new classification of worker comes out. We'll call them the hobblers. All right, the hobblers come to your door, and they're terrible employees. From what your experience is, they show to work late. They're ineffective on the job, and they demand a bunch of things while they're there. It won't be too many hobblers that you hire and you say, you know what, I'm not hiring any hobblers anymore, and whenever one comes, the position just got filled, or I changed my mind. The federal government won't let you say, I don't hire hobblers, but they will let you say, I can't hire you right now. So, I mean, as a businessman, all they're requiring you to do is lie. It's like the cake makers with the gay marriages. Oh, sorry, I got too many cakes right now.
Yep. Hey, Tim, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate your thoughts. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Gabe is in Virginia and listening to WNIS. Hello, Gabe.
Hi there, guys.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I was considering 2009 after Obama was elected. I saw a lot of people that were very excited, and it was kind of a roller coaster ride. It was very thrilling for them, and I mean for a lot of people who were into it. I mean, I haven't been into a Democrat or a Republican for a long time, but I think that it was a little bit empowering. So I think that empowerment might be the only gift from that kind of an event to women.
But ultimately it was a letdown, right? I mean, because a lot of the people who were excited about Barack Obama thought he was going to bring change and hope, and ultimately all he did was continue George W. Bush's presidency, and ramp it up a little bit in some areas as far as violence is concerned.
The story about the kid on LSD that tied a cape around his neck and jumped off the roof, that little guy was empowered.
I don't get it.
Right,
What's that?
and
empowerment is completely worthless without reality.
Oh, I see. But what I was saying was the idea that the government, that some person being elected to a government position is somehow going to empower you is as ridiculous as saying that your favorite sports star getting a $1 million raise is somehow empowering to you as well. I mean, but it's worse because the government disempowers people. The government takes away your power. They take away your rights, and they'll do it no matter who gets elected in 2016, whether it's Trump or it's Hillary.
Yeah, I fully agree, and I think that I'm just using that as a model, that whole disaster, the whole train wreck of the last 8 years, just using it sort of as a model, I think you can I think you could extrapolate and just move that forward, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, I think women will drop out of the labor force. I don't think that liberalism, and I don't think that feminism helps women in any way. I think it actually hurts women. And in fact...
Why do you say that? Why does feminism hurt women? Because there have been also different phases to feminism as well. So what specific feminism is hurting women?
Specifically, I mean, I'm not, I'm no sociologist, and I don't really know the nuts and bolts of different shades of feminism. I do know that I just know that it's ironic, and I know you guys will see this too. It's ironic that women now that bathroom signs seem just more of a suggestion than a rule anymore.
Well, that has nothing to do with feminism. Right, that's transgender, acceptance.
And generally, they're not very happy. Feminists and the transgendered folks don't really get along because the transgendered folks say there's a difference between men and women. Feminists oftentimes say there isn't.
Well, and this is one of the things I wanted to point out when you were talking about feminism hurting women. My understanding of the original intention of feminism was that, hey, if a woman is doing the same job as a man and is doing it as competently as a man, then why shouldn't she get the same amount of pay? That makes sense to me. But to say that women should be treated special because they're women is sort of a reverse feminism in that way, but it's still considered feminism.
There are some loud voices within modern feminism that essentially are man-hating. I'm not saying that is the heart of modern feminism. I can't really answer that because I'm not on the inside, but I've seen a lot of stuff that's just bananas.
I suspect those man-haters were around when feminism started as well, but did
they have voice though?
I don't know.
I think that things like Tumblr and the internet have given voice to these that just wasn't there.
Gabe, any other thoughts you want to share? Go for it.
Yeah, interestingly, I think that, and I don't know where I read this. I don't often have a very good original thought, but I did see that. Somebody said that women under feminism didn't want to be equal. They wanted to be equaler. And you may have heard that before, but equality simply isn't good enough. There have to be advantages sort of stitched into the system. Any system that a feminist would agree with would be unequal.
Gabe, thanks for your call tonight. I appreciate your thoughts. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. By the way, completely unrelated here, Bitcoin is shooting up big time in price here tonight.
If you're thinking about getting Bitcoin, now might be the time before it's beyond
reach.
Well,
you never know when the time is. I think all the time is a good time to get Bitcoin. That way the price averages out a little bit as you buy it over time. Anyway, more coming up.
The root cause of most of society's ills is neither malice nor negligence, but a mere superstition, an unquestioned assumption which has been accepted on faith by nearly everyone of all ages, races, religions, education, and income levels. The Most Dangerous Superstition by Larkin Rose exposes the myth for what it is, showing how nearly everyone, as a result of one particular unquestioned assumption, is directly contributing to violence and oppression without even realizing it. Find The Most Dangerous Superstition on Amazon and larkinrose.com.
Could you use up to $35,000? No need to shop around for loans anymore. LoanUS.com is a convenient online way to connect with a lender based on your unique background and provide you a loan of up to $35,000. And LoanUS.com works with lenders in all 50 states. Use the loan to pay for emergency expenses, medical bills, debt consolidation, home improvement, large purchases, and even taxes.
LoanUS.com connects you with lenders but is not a lender or a broker and does not make lending or credit decisions. Loans may not be available for residents of some states. APR, loan term, loan amount, and other loan details may vary. See LoanUS.com for details.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, June 11th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.33 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,274 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $587. Antiwar.com reports in addition to a planned increase in airstrikes reported on Thursday, the White House on Friday confirmed plans to loosen restrictions on ground troops, particularly the special forces occupying Afghanistan, with an eye towards increasing their direct combat role. Press Secretary Joshua Earnest said that the U.S. troops will be more proactive in their operation, and while the U.S. is still officially listing the troops engaged in the occupation as non-combat advise and assist troops, they will also engage in occasional combat operations alongside Afghan forces. While plans had at one point been to end the occupation by now, the U.S. has put troop withdrawals on hold repeatedly as the Taliban gains more territory. With the Afghan military's losses mounting, the new U.S. commander, Lieutenant General John Nicholson, was keen to ramp operations back up. Despite that, Earnest insisted the U.S. is not restarting the combat role, irrespective of the combat they're planning to engage in, and are going to try to keep up with the pretense that the Afghan war, some 15 years in, is at least sort of over.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports the egg industry's standard practice of killing male chicks at birth is set to end. United Egg Producers, the industry group which represents hatcheries that produce 95% of all eggs produced in the United States, announced on Thursday that it would stop the culling of millions of chicks by 2020. The decision is being heralded as a historic victory by pressure group the Humane League, which has campaigned for years against the mass slaughter. Hatcheries regard male chicks as less valuable because they can't lay eggs and were not bred to be fast-growing chickens that sold as meat. Usually, on the day they are born, they are killed by being thrown into what is essentially a giant blender. Some are gassed or suffocated. According to the Humane League, United Egg Producers said that the killing will stop just as soon as it is economically feasible and they can find an alternative that is commercially viable. One such alternative could be to use in-oxo-sexing technology, which identifies the gender of a future chick inside a fertilized egg. Such a move would mean that those male chicks will never be born. But the Humane Society is still unhappy with the way hens are treated by many hatcheries. Paul Shapiro, that organization's vice president of farm animal protection, said that in many ways the male chicks that die are the lucky ones compared to the females that lay about 270 eggs a year in cages. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the fight over new federal regulations on advice on investing for retirement is moving from Capitol Hill to the U.S. court system as the number of lawsuits attempting to stop the rule grows. Wall Street-affiliated groups, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, last week filed a legal challenge in a U.S. district court in Texas to the Labor Department's new fiduciary standard that requires financial brokers for retirement products put the client's best interest ahead of their bottom line. Since then, a collection of insurance companies sued in the same court on Wednesday, contesting the rule over its treatment of fixed-indexed annuities. They said in their filing that the rule, effective this week, will upend the regulatory scheme that has for decades governed the market for fixed-indexed annuities. The filing said it would also necessitate an overhaul of the way in which these valuable products are sold and threaten the availability of these products for the very people the rules are intended to benefit. In April, the Labor Department released the rule for financial brokers who sell retirement products after a bruising fight that spanned years. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Medical experts announced that an Ebola vaccine is at least 50 white people away from being developed. The CIA is now ready to install a female world leader, and a sex toy is discreetly shipped in a plain dildo-shaped box. rising to the top of the video news summary game through an unstoppable combination of glad-handing and payoffs. This is the Onion Week in Review. Reflecting on his accomplishments and questioning his current abilities, the Lord God Almighty, our Heavenly Father and Blessed Savior, told reporters that he was no longer confident whether he would be able to create the world in only 7 days. He who commanded light to shine from the darkness admitted that the mere thought of producing the entirety of the universe from nothingness, a task he once completed with time to spare, had become surprisingly daunting, and added that creating a small, lifeless moon or asteroid now seemed like a more realistic goal. In this week's science news, psychology comes to a halt as weary researchers say the mind cannot possibly study itself.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're launching here into the second hour of this live Saturday edition of the program. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We've also got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. I'm going to play an advertisement that is from Reason.tv. It's brilliant satire. For those of us, for those podcast listeners who already heard it earlier in the show, I apologize. And those who are listening,
still good.
And those who are listening on the radio from the beginning, I apologize for the repetitiveness. But I think it's so funny, and we've always got new people tuning in to the show, and it's sort of one of the main topics on the program tonight. So here you go.
Milestone.
A milestone.
It's a historic moment for our country, and I am so proud that a woman
will be in charge of our nation's secret kill list.
Will preside over the warrantless mass surveillance of ordinary citizens.
A woman will direct our drone assassination program.
Finally, it will be a woman.
It's about time we had a female overseeing the huge expansion of regulatory burdens.
And the huge expansion of entitlement spending.
Of military spending.
Of executive power.
Of federal debt.
It will finally be a woman who helps destabilize the Middle East.
It's finally a woman's job to disregard the Constitution.
To keep throwing money at education policies that never yield results.
To tell blatant falsehoods about transparency while punishing whistleblowers.
At long last, our wealthy,
vindictive,
paranoid, narcissistic, power-hungry president
will have a vagina.
A vagina.
Will have a vagina.
This changes everything.
And one of the funnier parts is that it's all going to be true. Whether it's Hillary or Trump or whoever it is that wins, everything they said about the president doing all of those terrible things, it's all going to be true in the next 4 years.
Not the two X chromosomes part, necessarily.
Okay, but everything else, all the predictions about what was going to happen or what's going to continue happening. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Mark, you'd asked a question that I don't think has really been answered yet from someone who believes that women will be better off in the next 4 years if Hillary is elected. Why is it that you believe that's going to be the case?
How will they be better off?
And how will they be better off?
Can we describe it?
And is there something specifically that Hillary is going to do that you expect that she will do that will make women better off? If you believe that, would love to hear from you. The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Let's go to Carson City, where John is on the line in Skype land. Hello, John.
Hi, guys.
Hey there.
Thinking about women and libertarianism, I noticed at the end of the LP convention when
It's
McAfee
the Libertarian Party.
Right, I'm sorry, the Libertarian Party convention. When McAfee was finally out of the running, when he was eliminated in the voting, he had a parting shot for the Libertarian Party delegates in which he told them that they should be ashamed of themselves because they were 75% men and 99% white. And this strikes me as kind of similar. I often hear people say, yeah, well, we need to get more women in the Libertarian Party. And this strikes me as similar to saying, well, we need more women in the White House, or we need more women in public office.
Well, I don't think that anyone should be ashamed of themselves for being in the Libertarian Party and the fact that it has the ratios,
especially accidents of birth,
that it does. I don't think that you should be ashamed of yourself. I do agree that the Libertarian Party would be more effective if, and any Libertarian movement would be more effective at spreading its ideas if it had a more diverse membership. I think that's true. Just because people haven't gotten over the idea that people are different, that we're all humans, that it doesn't matter the color of your skin or your, what's hanging or not between your legs, that to some extent people do still feel comfortable around some of the folks that have things in common with them. And I think there's something to that, don't you?
Well, that seems kind of like saying, well, we should pursue people who have certain things between their legs, that we should target the libertarian message for people who have certain things between their legs. And
well, I think the libertarian message should be targeted to different interest groups. And, a lot of times people who, have a vagina are more likely to be taking care of children. So you would want to target a message to them about how libertarianism makes being a mom or, taking care of kids.
Makes a better world for their kids.
Right, a better place. So, yeah, you would absolutely want to target your message depending on who your audience is. There's nothing wrong with that. But to shame people for being in the Libertarian Party and because it has certain demographics, that doesn't make any sense. That's not fair. I'll disagree with him on that.
Well, I think that different people in different groups are differently disposed to certain things, like the message of liberty and to say economic thinking.
Are you suggesting there? I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. Are you suggesting there that women or some other group of people, some other arbitrary collection of people, is somehow less economically sound in their knowledge?
Well, Brian Kaplan, an economist who you've had on, has said that he's in his book, The Myth of the Rational Voter. He showed a lot of research that said that women's views on economics were less rational than men's on average. Another political philosopher.
But what does it matter what the averages are? We're talking about a movement that focuses on individuals.
Focusing on individuals. So as a libertarian movement, then why would we say we need more women if we're focusing on individuals?
Well, okay, so I'm not sure where I stand on this particular side, but I tend to agree with Ian that if libertarian women were to tailor a message towards other women, that they'd probably be effective in that they can communicate.
They'd
in ways,
be more effective.
Yeah, they can communicate in ways that perhaps aren't heard if I attempt to communicate in them. And when I communicate the issues, maybe it's focused. Probably there's some bias, and I'm focusing towards issues that would be of more concern to men. I don't, that
you
all
probably
sounds,
don't have a lot of experience with feminine hygiene issues, for instance, and how the government gets involved in those areas.
I wouldn't be able to speak to that one way or the other, but I think it's more about values.
You've never been pregnant, so you can't relate.
Agreed. So whether or not on aggregate women are less economically literate, according to this one economist's or historian's
that sounds like something Chris Cantwell would say.
Well, no. I don't care whether it's true or not. It doesn't make a difference to me whether it's true. It may be true or false on the aggregate, but really what matters is women who are economically literate. What can we speak to them in ways that might spread the message?
Or maybe we could teach people economic literacy, and so more people.
Have been really great about teaching.
More people could understand the ideas of freedom. So I think there is a benefit, John. But go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, but isn't the very reason, like you say something like that maybe we should appeal to women more? Isn't it because we should appeal to more people in the libertarian movement?
No, it's you're not targeting women as a group. You're targeting people specifically on issues, but they may be more likely to listen to people who they believe they have something in common with. Similarly, an older person might be better at reaching out to older people than a younger person may.
I think that's absolutely true.
But I never hear libertarians say we need more men. That
we got plenty of them.
Whatever we're doing,
but actually, it's a very, very small percentage of men that are libertarians.
That's true. It's a small percentage of everyone that's a libertarian.
Well, let's point this out, John. Just the people that are in the Libertarian Party, the fact is that the vast majority of people who are libertarian would not waste their time going to a Libertarian Party convention. They just wouldn't do that. So you still are looking for a personality type, which is people who are willing to go to a Libertarian convention.
Personally, I don't care about the Libertarian Party and what they do. I think the liberty message in general can be tailored to different people based on their interests, and the person presenting that message is not necessarily, depending on their demographics and depending on who they are and their experience in life, may or may not be the right person for that. In the same way that I say that Free Talk Live isn't the right talk show for everybody to listen to. There are some people who won't like our voices. There are some people who won't like one of our attitudes, or both, or whatever. Thanks, John, for your call. I think it's an important question, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with within the libertarian movement. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. The good news is there's a lot of great liberty-oriented shows, and there's probably one out there that you'll like if you don't like this one. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Get a pen and get ready for an important announcement. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, OIC Tax can help. Our retired IRS agents, tax attorneys, and CPAs are fighting for you. That's what we do here at OIC Tax. We help you survive after the IRS has come knocking. OIC Tax can help you with IRS hardship programs, offer in compromise, installment agreements, and the preparation of past and current tax returns. OIC Tax offers convenient representation for small businesses, corporations, W-2 wage earners, and even SBA loans in default. So stop waiting. Get a fresh start. Call OIC Tax at 1-800-314-4491 now. Bank levies, wage garnishments, and property seizures can be devastating to your life. OIC Tax has an A rating from the Better Business Bureau and is registered with the IRS as an e-file provider. Let OIC Tax help you. 1-800-314-4491. 1-800-314-4491. That's 1-800-314-4491.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending,
and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us right here, toll free at 855-450-FREE. You know, whoever it is that's in charge of the U.S. federal government, whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats, they do tend to murder people around the world. And if you're sick and tired of that, you want to do something about it, stop using their money. There is an alternative, and that's Bitcoin, which, as we mentioned before, has had an interesting night so far. It's been shooting up overall over the entire evening here. There is an alternative to the states.
Shooting up in value.
Yeah, to the states. Well, it's not shooting up heroin or anything like that. There is an alternative.
I don't think that people necessarily even know that Bitcoin is commodity currency, so that its value would increase like that. You know, like that's. I guess when you're looking at foreign exchanges, Bitcoin is a currency that is international. It can be spent in any country.
That's right. It's not created by any state or bank.
In the same way that a currency can rise and fall against the dollar, Bitcoin is currently rising against the dollar. So if you have Bitcoins...
And every other currency in the world, probably.
Your Bitcoins are becoming worth more because it is something of value as opposed to a fiat currency issued by a government.
Yeah, if you bought Bitcoin a month ago, you're doing really well right now because the price has just been going up generally over the last few weeks. Obviously, it goes up and down. It fluctuates. But overall, it's working out. Anyway, things are getting better because more businesses are also accepting Bitcoin than ever before. And that's a cool thing because you can actually go in real life and use it in some places. But, of course, there's thousands of online businesses that accept it as well. And there are a lot of reasons why businesses would want to take Bitcoin, given that the fees are next to zero as far as accepting Bitcoin is concerned. So go to Bitcoin.com. You can learn more about Bitcoin there. It's a great introductory website. And, of course, by using the state's money, you're helping the state. So stop doing it. This puts the power of money into your hands. Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com. As we go to George in Toronto, you can bring up anything you want, whether you want to talk about women getting elected to politics, specifically Hillary, and what, if anything, that's going to change for the better for women. We'd love to hear from you. But George, you're on in Toronto. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so I'm just calling for two things. One about women, but the other thing is yesterday I heard you talking about somebody that couldn't get a concealed weapons license because they said that he was defiant to authority figures or something.
Yes, that's correct. Derek J. Freeman, our former co-host, the host of Flaming Freedom, was denied here in New Hampshire, in Keene specifically, where he applied. It was called unsuitable because he was not obedient to the state.
Yeah, well, if they deem you that, not only can they do that to you, but they can put you on medication too, you know.
Well, you know, I mean, in some places there certainly have been people who've been defiant and who have been dissenters who have been placed in mental health institutions and forced to take medications against their will. That does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but thankfully it hasn't happened to Derek.
Yeah, luckily no. But if you're like a minor
recently.
and they make you take a test and they determine that about you, they'll make you take pills. The other thing is we need a woman leader who will tell all women to stop shaving their vaginas. Thank you. Sarah's a
for
reptilian.
the call for, wow, that was a little different. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Everybody's got their preferences down there.
I believe in America where people can form and shape their hair in whatever way they wish.
Yes, I'm with you on that. No mandates when it comes to your pubic hair. Let's go.
Watch out for ingrown hairs, though, if you shave it too close.
I've heard about that. Ralph, you're on from New Jersey, or actually calling from somewhere in the U.S. Ralph, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
I'm sorry, I presumed you were in New Jersey. Go ahead, Ralph. You're on the air.
Well, I'm for marijuana and shit.
Oh, you can't say the S word on the radio, so we have to let you go. He said he was for marijuana and S, is what he said there, for those of you who...
He sounded like this.
Now, do you think he was really stoned there, or
I'm going to just go ahead and say yes.
Maybe stoned and drunk?
I don't know. It's not a very pleasant combination.
Well, I guess it depends. I mean, you can be tipsy and stoned versus drunk and stoned, and that's probably a different story.
Yeah.
They say that having alcohol together with cannabis intensifies the effects. I am not a heavy drinker, so I personally don't really notice that to be the case. If I just have a couple of drinks, just 2 drinks, and then a little bit of cannabis, it doesn't really do anything differently for me. But everybody's different, and everybody responds to drugs differently. At least he was able to dial the phone to call into the show, and that's really all it will require. I mean, as long as we can sort of understand you and you can dial the phone number, you can call Free Talk Live. I realize the bar is not very high, and that some of our program directors may not appreciate that particular policy out there. But that's just the way we do radio.
Hopefully we do it well enough that when people call in, we can make them funny.
I would have loved for that guy to have stayed on. I think that call could have been funnier had he actually been able to express himself a little bit more. But he said the S word, and unfortunately, we have to let you go. Somebody asked a question, sort of a technical question on our AMP forum, is why do you guys always drop people off the air who say a bad word? Because sometimes people will say it accidentally.
Yes.
And then there's the people who call in to say it on purpose. And you can tell usually the difference between someone who's just getting passionate and they, an S-bomb or an F-bomb slips out versus somebody who the first thing that comes out of their mouth is F this and F you, that kind of person.
But essentially, you don't know the difference in those cases. And
sometimes you do, sometimes
if somebody
you don't.
slips up 2 times in a short period of time, we don't have the buffer left on our dump button. And that's basically the reason, right?
It is, for the most part, a technical issue. But it's also a consistency issue because, as you said, Mark, you don't always know the difference between a good troll. You won't necessarily know. But it is a technical issue more so than anything else. So here's a little tip for when you're calling local talk radio. If they're in a delay, you can count the number of seconds that they're in delay based on the top of the hour or whatever. Whenever they start their show, you can kind of figure it out. Or if you call in, you can listen on hold and then listen quietly on the radio and count the number of seconds. But a local show may have a longer delay that they build up. They could have 30 or 40 or 50 seconds. We can't do that for technical reasons because we're doing a network show. So we can only build 6 or 7 seconds of delay. And so when we hit the dump button, we can select how much of it gets dumped out. But once we dump out all of our 6 seconds, we're back to live. And if somebody's saying F you and F this, and we haven't gotten rid of them, or they later say something else, that's going to slip through. Indeed. So, hey, the rule is we're on the radio. You can't say those words, and if you do, we got to punish you for it.
There's the paddling.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's a paddling.
Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. But I would like to agree with the caller. I do support marijuana, at least that far. I don't know what else he was going to say. I think that it is a miracle drug that has helped so many people with so many medical maladies.
Not even really a drug. It's a plant.
Well, I mean, that's kind of mincing words, isn't it?
A drug is extracting something. You don't really do anything to marijuana other than dry it. That's like calling tobacco a drug.
Well,
nicotine's a drug. Tobacco contains it.
The plant has drugs in it, okay? And
it has chemicals in it, sure.
Yeah, I mean, so
as does tobacco. Yeah.
It's being used for the purpose of altering one's state of consciousness or health or helping one's health. So its use is as a drug. Yep. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I think it's dodgy to say cannabis isn't a drug. It absolutely is. It's just one of the more harmless ones out there and actually helps people in a lot of ways. It's Free Talk Live.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Friday, gold is $7 higher at $1,277 per ounce. Silver is up 5 cents at $17.41 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $575 US. In the last week, gold is up over 5% and silver nearly 9%. How are your other investments doing? Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 641-552-5046. That's 641-552-5046.
Free Talk Live. Live Saturday edition of the program. Got plenty of time for you if you want to join us here. 855-450-FREE is the toll-free number, 855-450-3733. U.S. newspaper industry's been hollowed out by job losses. We'll give you the latest on the floundering newspaper business here, and you can join us at 855-450-FREE. Plus, since we were talking about Bitcoin, the best wallet out there, I'm going to go ahead and say the Jax wallet.
I love it.
Is really impressing me. I mean, it looked good when it was in beta, but now it's even better. You can actually use the Jax wallet to access Bitcoin and Ether.
Bitcoin, Ether, and the DAO now.
And DAO tokens.
So essentially what a wallet is it's an account. So if Bitcoin is money, and it is, then a wallet is a way to manage your account. It's just like they just call it a wallet. So
That's right.
It's a great system. It's the best system I've been able to find.
It's also secure. Data is stored client-side. They don't have access to your funds over at Decentral, which is the company that made Jax.
No, they don't have your funds.
It's cross-platform, so you can have it on your phone. You can have it on your laptop. You can have it on your tablet, as long as you've got Google or Apple phones, tablets, or Windows, Mac, or Linux. So whatever operating system you're on, it's probably going to work for you. Super easy to back up and recover your funds if necessary. Jax.io is their website. It's their ultimate aim to build you a digital command center for your life, giving you control over coins, currencies, contracts, identity, and more. And they're just getting started over there at Jax. Very exciting. And like all wallets for Bitcoin, it's free. But this is more than just Bitcoin. It's Ether, Bitcoin, and the new DAO tokens. Jax, JAXX.io. As we continue with your calls and thoughts, we've got Dave in Montana on via Skype. Hello, Dave.
Hey, yo, Ian, how you doing, man?
Dave. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, cannabis ain't a drug. You calling cannabis a drug, it's like calling a tomato a drug. A tomato has a chemical inside of it that's good for your prostate. So,
isn't there also a little bit of nicotine in tomatoes?
Yep, it's nightshade.
Dave, I'm glad you also called it cannabis too. I was going to bring this up that marijuana is a slang term.
It's a propaganda word made up by the government to terrorize people into not using it. That's what it is. When you say marijuana, you're playing along with their little propaganda scheme.
All right, but why isn't it a drug? I want to get a little bit deeper into this.
It's an herb. It's like calling oregano. You could, a drug is rendered, like broken down and rendered, like heroin. You take a poppy flower and you turn it into the opium. Then you got to add certain acids to it or something like that and render it into the heroin. You just don't get heroin right from the poppy. You just don't get cocaine right from the coca leaf.
I don't know, man. I mean, I understand why you're defining it that way, and I think a lot of people would define drug that way. But also, would you say that if you reduce down cannabis to hash oil or butane hash oil, cannabis wax, if you are concentrating the active chemicals in the cannabis down into a more concentrated substance, is that then a drug?
You're concentrating it when you make it into an oil. I don't think it's
you absolutely are.
When you render something out of that concentration, okay, then. But
you're rendering the concentration. You're taking raw cannabis and you're breaking it down.
Then you could call tinctures or extracts a drug.
Yes, and the reason why they're drugs is because they are. Here's a basic definition of drug.
An extract ain't a drug.
From the dictionary, any article other than food intended to affect the structure or any function of the body of humans or other animals.
Other than food. Cannabis is a food. It's the most nutritious food known to man.
It is a plant. It is a flower. It's not very tasty. You really wouldn't want to put a cannabis flower in your mouth. I mean, it's kind of
doing your body really good because that's how you get the best CBDs out of it, is by consuming it raw. By making juice out of it and drinking it is the best way to get the CBDs. The next best way is eating it in a salad. You take the sun leaves and put it right in your salad.
So let me ask you
this.
That's
a good argument. I mean,
is tomato sauce a drug? So you take tomatoes,
you're making a
and you extract them, you boil them down.
You're making a concentrate out of tomatoes.
That's
tomato
right.
paste. Tomato paste would be then the heroin of tomato.
Thanks for the call, Dave.
Hold on, wait a second. You haven't dropped him, have you?
No, he's right here.
Dave, what can you do with marijuana?
With hemp, you mean?
Hemp, excuse me.
It's food, clothes, housing, fuel, jobs, medicine. It brings people together, man, and talk and communicate.
Maybe medicine's a better word then, all right? How about using the word medicine for cannabis rather than
that's
drug?
Only one very little.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But that's the reason why most people use it. Thanks.
Long live free talk.
I love your calls. I love you. Thanks, Dave, for the call tonight. It's great hearing from you again. And I'm glad he called about that because this is a good question. How do you really categorize this thing? Because it is a plant. It is a flower. He's right. You can grind up a flower and do things with flowers, cooking things with them or just eating them. adding it to a salad. I think he makes some solid points there. But when you're using that flower knowing that it has a psychoactive component to it or knowing that it has a medicinal aspect to it, aren't you using a drug in that case?
20 pounds of eggplant contain as much nicotine as a cigarette.
That's a lot, though.
If
You're not using the eggplant for the purpose.
A lot of eggplant.
But
in order to satiate your nicotine, let's say you're trying to give up smoking cigarettes and you're just going to eat a lot of eggplant to sort of satiate that. Are you then not consuming food but instead consuming a drug?
I think that whether or not cannabis is a drug depends on how it's being used. So
I think that the word drug is essentially just propaganda. It's propaganda against a plant. You can't define marijuana as anything, cannabis, whatever term you want to use. I don't find the terms to be particularly harmful, but whatever. If you can't define it as anything but what it is, it's a dried plant.
Yeah, that has effects similar to drugs in some ways, and has chemicals, psychoactive chemicals in it.
He said, like, it was a great example. The opium poppy. You don't call a poppy just a poppy. You don't call it a drug. You call it a flower. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's persuasive on that point. I think it depends on how you're using it. If you're growing the cannabis, then you're growing a flower. You're growing a plant. If you are inhaling the cannabis, then
you have combusted a flower and you're now inhaling the smoke.
You are using it for likely some sort of purpose as a drug, whether it's recreational or medicinal. The toll-free number here, drug is not a bad word. And I think Rich Paul was talking about this. Well, okay, I understand that. And I'm trying to point out that drug is not a bad word. There are some bad drugs. There are some people who abuse good and bad drugs. And most drugs have good uses. It just all depends on the intentions of the user.
I think the term drug has been, frankly, turned into a bad word. There are people that refuse to use drugs, period. Whether they're prescription, over-the-counter, illegal,
so should they refuse to use cannabis when that might help them?
Right. They just don't like the term drug. They don't want something because it has been refined in that way. Cannabis has not been refined. Now, I'll remind you that there are poisonous plants out there. So the idea that something is natural, that a plant is natural, therefore good for you, is
I'm not saying that.
Not accurate. No, I know you're not saying it.
Some people
believe
that,
use that terminology.
Yeah, don't pick all those berries out in the woods. Let's go to Tammy, listening in Newport News, Virginia, to WNIS. Hello, Tammy.
Hi, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, great. Go ahead.
Okay, well, my thing was, we're talking about the elections. My thought is on the elections.
Yes.
And we have Donald Trump and we have Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Actually, we're getting to the point we have to vote for the lesser of two evils.
It's always that way. Did you feel like it wasn't that way before?
No, I have, but where I felt was I've actually went and voted, and I skipped the presidential side, and I think that was Bush Jr. and Kerry, because I didn't like either one of them. But
Tammy, I want to hear more about what you have to say and where you're coming from, so stand by. We're going to bring you back here in moments. 855-450-FREE. It's not to the point of having to vote for the lesser of two evils. It's been that way my whole lifetime, and it's, of course, more than two evils. There are third-party candidates, and they're kind of evil, too. It's Free Talk Live.
Get a pen and get ready for an important announcement. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, OIC Tax can help. Our retired IRS agents, tax attorneys, and CPAs are fighting for you. That's what we do here at OIC Tax. We help you survive after the IRS has come knocking. OIC Tax can help you with IRS hardship programs, offer in compromise, installment agreements, and the preparation of past and current tax returns. OIC Tax offers convenient representation for small businesses, corporations, W-2 wage earners, and even SBA loans in default. So stop waiting. Get a fresh start. Call OIC Tax at 1-800-314-4491 now. Bank levies, wage garnishments, and property seizures can be devastating to your life. OIC Tax has an A rating from the Better Business Bureau and is registered with the IRS as an e-file provider. Let OIC Tax help you. 1-800-314-4491. 1-800-314-4491. That's 1-800-314-4491.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the program, and you can bring up anything that you want to discuss. Just dial in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE, whether it's about Hillary Clinton, which is what we started the show discussing, ended up with a call about cannabis. Is it a drug or not? You can bring up anything here on Free Talk Live. And if you support what we're doing here on Free Talk Live, then please shop with us. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and there you can enter Amazon. There's some other shops there as well, like Walmart. But you can enter Amazon through the links you'll find, Amazon UK, Canada, and Amazon US. You do your shopping. You get the stuff you were going to likely buy anyway. You get the same deal you're going to pay. You're not paying more when you go through shop.freetalklive.com. It's just that Amazon doesn't keep all of the profits. They'll send some to Free Talk Live. So please go to shop.freetalklive.com. It only takes you an extra moment to do that. And if you want to save that moment in the future, just go there once, shop.freetalklive.com, click the Amazon link for the Amazon of your preference, and then bookmark that link. And then every time you can just go back to that bookmark, and we'll get the credit, and you'll get your shopping done. You'll get great deals, free Super Saver shipping, Amazon Prime, and everything you're used to there. So, shop.freetalklive.com. We're back with Tammy, listening in Newport News, Virginia. You were commenting on Hillary Clinton, and I wanted to make sure you had a chance to get your full thoughts out.
I apologize for my words. When I say the lesser of two evils, I didn't mean they were evil people. I was listening earlier, we were talking about that no matter what happens, it's going to be the same.
Well, I don't see the thing with evil people is the people that do evil a lot of times believe they're doing good. So they believe likely that they're helping their friends, or they believe that they're helping themselves, or they're helping the world, or doing what they believe is right for the country. But ultimately, what they are doing is evil. The federal government is an evil institution, as all states around the globe
I thought
are.
you took offense to what I said.
Oh, no, not at all. No, I think that it's absolutely an evil thing to use the threat of violence and actual violence against peaceful people to get them to behave in the ways that you want them to, and that's what the government does. Whether it's Hillary or Trump or some third-party candidate in charge, the government will continue to be evil. And so therefore, by proxy, they are evil for taking over the reins of power without explicitly denouncing it. If there was somebody who was denouncing the reins of power while they were winning an election, then I might not think they were evil, like Ron Paul, for instance. But otherwise, most of them are evil.
Okay, well, this is what I'm saying. Even with Donald Trump, I mean, do I think he is a racist? I'm a black woman. No, I don't think he's a racist. I think he says what everybody wants him to say. Wherever he goes, he has the Bible in his hand. When he's there,
he does.
He wherever he goes, he says what they want him to say.
Okay.
Hillary's just straight up whatever. Is that the wrong word?
No, you can say whatever.
Do you think that that he's saying what people want him to say, or that he's saying what he wants to say?
Every time he goes to a convention, if he goes to the Deep South, all of a sudden we incite racism. If he goes to the biblical country like who is it, Montana or wherever it is?
Liberty University, I know he spoke at.
Yeah, he does. Then he brings the Bible in his hand. I mean, he is a reality star. The man knows business. He's smart as crap. But my problem with him is no one really knows what he believes because he hasn't said it yet.
Well, he could have said it, but he said a lot of things around it.
Yeah, I mean, well, the other thing is he said a lot of things that a lot of people agree with and a lot of people like. Whether those are his beliefs is the ultimate question, and that's always a question with politicians because they lie. And he is, by definition, a politician.
But it was so funny. I was watching something on WHRO when there was people from Jamaica, and they wanted to come to this country. Jamaicans are getting killed every day because they're gay.
Really?
Because Jamaicans said, it's against them. Oh, yes. It was on WHRO, and it was in the Bible, and they said, no, they're not going to do that. People are fleeing. I saw on that show that they were trying to come to the United States. The United States did say no. I was so proud of my country for saying.
Hold on. You're proud of the United States federal government for saying no to gay people trying to escape persecution?
No, what I'm saying is no. I'm proud of the fact that every time, oh, Lord, I sound like a racist. I'm proud of the fact that, every time someone has a problem in another country, they come to the United States. The United States give them a house, give them money, and give them everything else.
Well, I don't support welfare, but I think that people who are trying to escape oppression should absolutely be able to come to a supposedly free country, don't you?
No, I really am. I hate admitting it, but it's the truth. Is what someone was talking about earlier on your show. I do not want to go to the bathroom with a man. So, no, I do have a problem with the fact, as an older woman, I'm over 50, that I have to go to the restroom with a man.
Well, that's a completely different issue.
Has that happened to you?
Well, when I look at, if I have to accept the woman, I have to accept the man coming into the restroom too.
Hold on. What does restroom etiquette or who goes into a restroom have anything to do with gay people being murdered in Jamaica?
It has to do with, now we got gay men and gay people coming into, Lord.
You do understand not every gay man is a transvestite or transgendered, right? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why are you acting like they all are some sort of threat to you coming here in your bathroom?
Maybe I just don't want them in there with the children. I don't know.
You don't? Okay, so hold on. Now, this is even more insulting. Now you're saying that gay people are more likely to be pedophiles? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not.
Well, then what are you worried about your children for?
Are you only worried about the female children or the male children, too?
Do you think that the gay people are going to infect your children with their gayness? Is that what you're worried about?
Of course not. This is funny.
You are very ridiculous, and you're scary at the same time. You can't explain it, though. I mean, what is it you're afraid of?
I have gay members of my family. I know they would not. attack anyone.
So what? Do you think Jamaican gay people are more likely to attack children?
No. No, I don't.
Why are you so afraid of this, then? Why are you afraid of people who are being persecuted coming here? But by the way, there are gay people being persecuted all around the globe. Russia, I believe Uganda is one of the places.
Okay, we're taking your word for it that it's happening in Jamaica.
It's a fair question. The fair question is, how does people come into the United States and they get a house, they get this, and, actually they live better than a lot of people who live in America.
That's the one point I agree with you on. I don't support welfare.
Okay, well, I should have said that.
But not everyone here, first of all, not everybody here coming here is getting on welfare, so that's not the case. But let's say that welfare wasn't here. Would you have a problem with gay people coming here?
If welfare wasn't here?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, great. So then we're on the same page. Thanks for the call tonight. Although I still support them coming here anytime, because I don't think you can shut down the government welfare system, just like I don't think you can shut down the border. I mean, I would like to see welfare shut down, but unfortunately that's not going to happen even if Donald Trump or Gary Johnson or Hillary or whoever gets elected.
Well, okay, so what my support for is really irrelevant. What I'm in support of is people with good logical skills. And if you can remove from the scenario the welfare component or the entitlement component or the government assistance, whatever you want to call it, if you can remove that component and then say to yourself that immigration is in fact a good thing at that point, then in all likelihood you're dealing with the facts. Now, many people will say, they're taking our jobs. But that argument could be made against young people or technology or a variety of things. Essentially, in order to make that argument against immigrants, you'd have to make that argument to be logically consistent against 16-year-olds and against robots. So if you're willing to make the argument against, we Americans should stop having children because they're taking my job, then you're logically consistent. And by the way, 2015, the lowest birth rate in many, many years for Americans. So if you want to keep the population growing, a growing population tends to be good for the economy, then immigration's a way to do that. I can understand why people want to get immigrants from a bunch of different countries rather than just one, so that you don't see sort of enclaves.
Nothing wrong with enclaves.
Well,
enclaves have worked out over the years.
They do inhibit assimilation to some extent.
That's okay. Do you have a problem going in? We've been to restaurants in enclaves before where they didn't speak a lick of English, but they were able to take our order and take our money.
Thing was fine. All you have to do is point at the
brought out some hot, delicious General Tso chicken,
pepper steak.
By the way, we'll continue.
Round eye like fake Chinese food.
If you're on hold, hang on. We are going to get to you, but I did do a quick check here, Mark. Story from 2014, Human Rights Watch, HRW.org. LGBT Jamaicans are vulnerable to both physical and sexual violence, and many live in constant fear of being taunted, threatened, fired from their jobs, thrown out of their homes, or worse, beaten, stoned, raped, or killed. 86-page report entitled Not Safe at Home, Violence and Discrimination Against LGBT People in Jamaica documents 56 cases of violence in which victims reported they were targeted because of their actual or perceived sexual identity. They found further that some police investigations are often inadequate or lacking altogether because of homophobia within the police force. So there you go. There might have been something to what she was saying there. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Hour 3 is coming up on Free Talk Live.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Well, tipping might be a great way. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card-sized Bitcoin tip that is easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets, spending, and returns to the user if unused? Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Could you use up to $35,000? Whether it's for home improvement, car repairs, paying off taxes, debt consolidation, emergency funds, or any other reason, LoanUS.com can match you with a lender that can offer up to $35,000. Quick, convenient, and completely online. LoanUS.com works with lenders in all 50 states. You can get up to $35,000 as soon as the next day. Visit LoanUS.com now.
LoanUS.com connects you with lenders, but is not a lender or a broker and does not make lending or credit decisions. Loans may not be available for residents of some states. APR, loan term, loan amount, and other loan details may vary. See LoanUS.com for details.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me.
Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, June 11th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.33 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,274 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $587. Antiwar.com reports in addition to a planned increase in airstrikes reported on Thursday, the White House on Friday confirmed plans to loosen restrictions on ground troops, particularly the special forces occupying Afghanistan, with an eye towards increasing their direct combat role. Press Secretary Joshua Earnest said that the U.S. troops will be more proactive in their operation, and while the U.S. is still officially listing the troops engaged in the occupation as non-combat advise and assist troops, they will also engage in occasional combat operations alongside Afghan forces. While plans had at one point been to end the occupation by now, the U.S. has put troop withdrawals on hold repeatedly as the Taliban gains more territory. With the Afghan military's losses mounting, the new U.S. commander, Lieutenant General John Nicholson, was keen to ramp operations back up. Despite that, Earnest insisted the U.S. is not restarting the combat role, irrespective of the combat they're planning to engage in, and are going to try to keep up with the pretense that the Afghan war, some 15 years in, is at least sort of over. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports the egg industry's standard practice of killing male chicks at birth is set to end. United Egg Producers, the industry group which represents hatcheries that produce 95% of all eggs produced in the United States, announced on Thursday that it would stop the culling of millions of chicks by 2020. The decision is being heralded as a historic victory by pressure group the Humane League, which has campaigned for years against the mass slaughter. Hatcheries regard male chicks as less valuable because they can't lay eggs and were not bred to be fast-growing chickens that sold as meat. Usually, on the day they are born, they are killed by being thrown into what is essentially a giant blender. Some are gassed or suffocated. According to the Humane League, United Egg Producers said that the killing will stop just as soon as it is economically feasible and they can find an alternative that is commercially viable. One such alternative could be to use in-oxo-sexing technology, which identifies the gender of a future chick inside a fertilized egg. Such a move would mean that those male chicks will never be born. But the Humane Society is still unhappy with the way hens are treated by many hatcheries. Paul Shapiro, that organization's vice president of farm animal protection, said that in many ways the male chicks that die are the lucky ones compared to the females that lay about 270 eggs a year in cages. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the fight over new federal regulations on advice on investing for retirement is moving from Capitol Hill to the U.S. court system as the number of lawsuits attempting to stop the rule grows. Wall Street-affiliated groups, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, last week filed a legal challenge in a U.S. district court in Texas to the Labor Department's new fiduciary standard that requires financial brokers for retirement products put the client's best interest ahead of their bottom line. Since then, a collection of insurance companies sued in the same court on Wednesday, contesting the rule over its treatment of fixed-indexed annuities. They said in their filing that the rule, effective this week, will upend the regulatory scheme that has for decades governed the market for fixed-indexed annuities. The filing said it would also necessitate an overhaul of the way in which these valuable products are sold and threaten the availability of these products for the very people the rules are intended to benefit. In April, the Labor Department released the rule for financial brokers who sell retirement products after a bruising fight that spanned years. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Reflecting on the persistent troubles it caused his sibling during childhood, local doctor Daniel Barrett told reporters this week about his average-looking brother, Kevin, who first inspired him to be a cosmetic surgeon.
As a kid, I remembered thinking that there was nothing I could do for Kevin. Watching someone you really love and care about suffer from a weak jawline or unsymmetrical features, it had a major impact on me.
And in this week's local news, a community theater gives the part of Blanche Dubois to Kathy Hamilton. In other news, a moviegoer manages to sneak candy past a teenage usher earning $7 an hour. A new app matches you with others in the vicinity who wasted $2.99 on the same app. And a Roman centurion crawling out of a New York City manhole cover is in for one wacky adventure. Having graciously spread my knowledge to the uneducated masses, I now return to the stately, elegant ranks of News Announcer Society. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour of this live Saturday edition of the program. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
We've got Skype. You can Skype into the show at lrn.fm. You do need to send a contact request first. We'll approve that. You'll be good to go to call us from that point forward on Skype. Or call toll-free 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Maybe you're just tuning in. We have been talking off and on about this video that the folks over at Reason.tv had created that is absolutely brilliant. We'll go ahead and play it one more time. So just once per hour here for everybody who's brand new. Of course, obviously we know people are tuning in throughout the hours, but we can't keep playing it over and over again. And it really addresses the issue of people who are saying, well, I'm going to vote for Hillary because she's a woman. She's doing things for women. Well, maybe she's not really going to do much different from every other president that came before her.
We've reached a milestone.
A milestone.
It's a historic moment for our country, and I am so proud that a woman will be in charge of our nation's secret kill list.
Will preside over the warrantless mass surveillance of ordinary citizens.
A woman will direct our drone assassination program. Finally, it will be a woman.
It's about time we had a female overseeing the huge expansion of regulatory burdens.
And the huge expansion of entitlement spending.
Of military spending.
Of executive power.
Of federal debt. It will finally be a woman who helps destabilize the Middle East.
It's finally a woman's job to disregard the Constitution.
To keep throwing money at education policies that never yield results.
To tell blatant falsehoods about transparency while punishing whistleblowers.
At long last, our wealthy,
vindictive,
paranoid, narcissistic, power-hungry president
will have a vagina.
A vagina. Will have a vagina. This changes everything.
Of course, no, it doesn't change anything if Hillary Clinton gets elected. There may, as one of our callers in the last hour suggested, be people who feel empowered. Just like the people who, when their sports team wins a game, they feel like they've won something.
Yes! My favorite group of millionaires has won!
Yeah, but ultimately, the fact that a woman wins a political office is in no way empowering because politics is disempowering by its nature. The state takes away your power. It destroys your rights. It taxes you. It regulates you. It tries to tell you how to live. And if you don't do what they say, they'll put you in a prison cell. And let me tell you, the prison cells under Hillary Clinton are not going to all of a sudden get all pink and, fluffy. It's not going to be nice. She's not going to stop bombing people around the globe, as those ladies in the advertisement were suggesting there. It's going to continue. She will continue to rule the state, or the state will continue to rule over your lives, and she will be in charge of it. That's all. Your new master is a woman if Hillary takes office, because ultimately that's what we're talking about here, is slavery continued on a much larger plantation. And the people at the top are siphoning off your wealth. You're working for them. Sure, they let you take a piece home because, the master back in the day did have to take care of the slaves to some extent. They'd have to feed them. If you got starving slaves, they're not going to be able to pull much cotton
Don't you
out
think
of the fields.
serf is a less contentious term?
I intend to be contentious.
Okay.
All right. So the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE if you want to join us.
I think it's fair to say that serfdom is a form of slavery.
Yeah, for sure. Let's continue here. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We've got Stephen on the line in North Carolina. Stephen, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a word to Dave, who called earlier. Yeah, I agree. How in the world can the government outlaw something that God made and put on the planet, and it grows naturally? I mean, it's kind of weird that would be outlawed. But
it is crazy.
Getting back to the thing about the
well, should I answer? I'll answer your question. I want to make sure you have time to get whatever you wanted out there. But let's answer the question for people that don't know, who are bewildered by the fact that this plant, cannabis, is illegal. Well, what led us to this point? A flashback to the 1930s reveals that it was basically racism and business protectionism that led us to this point. So there were certain people who had political power or had friends who had political power, and they utilized those people to put forward propaganda about, how black people were going to have sex, black men were going to have sex with white women, et cetera, and, it's bad, this bad, terrible drug, we need to make it illegal. Ultimately, they wanted to prohibit cannabis or hemp because it was an effective crop. It was competing with the newspaper industry that had, or a particular newspaperman who had, I believe, William Randolph Hearst, who had investments in paper from trees. So he didn't have investments in hemp, and he wanted to protect himself because it's a lot faster to grow hemp, considering that it's a weed, versus to actual, growing trees to full maturity or whatever maturity level they need before they can be harvested for paper purposes. DuPont, I believe, was also involved in it, in the suppression of this particular plant. So it's all just based on
that's
protection.
Still just one aspect of the progressive era. The progressive era, in the United States, ushered in this whole much larger government, and we can see that a government that can give you everything you want can take from you everything that it wants, and that's what that's the power that the state was given at the time.
Anyway, go ahead with your other point, Stephen.
Well, the other point would be that regarding the refugees, I feel bad for them and everything, but the truth of the matter is, other countries that have taken these refugees in are soon discovering that they cannot handle the situation because they do not fit into the culture. They're like somebody else said calling earlier. By and large, these people that are coming into these other countries, ipso facto, and ask Angela Merkel,
This sounds like fear-mongering propaganda, sir. I'm sorry, the numbers just don't bear you out.
I thought Angela Merkel supported this.
Propaganda. It's the fact. The news is from Germany. Angela Merkel's having problems with this situation and trying to figure out a way to get them out of the country. Denmark, I believe Denmark's offering $9,500 a head for them to leave.
Refugees in America, headline from the Foundation for Economic Education. We talked about it in detail on the show earlier this week. Refugees in America are happy, productive, and integrating. After 4 years, 90% are working more than 30 hours a week, and 75% are, quote, highly integrated.
Well, I don't know where that's coming from, but...
Well, there's a survey of refugees living in Colorado. I'm happy to provide the link if you'd like to check it out.
Let's look at the UK.
Well, the UK has a much more entitlement program.
Yeah, exactly. They've got more
welfare stinks, right?
Christian churches.
Yeah, can you support people coming here without supporting welfare?
They have sectors cordoned off just for Sharia law.
I don't care what they're doing in the United Kingdom. I don't live there. Look, can't you support people coming here and also be opposed to welfare?
I'm not following your question. And be opposed to welfare? Well, I think that follows in with the fact that we're broke in this country. We have $20 trillion in debt. And, anybody that wants to accommodate all these people that are coming in, also, by the way, these people that are coming in, a lot of them have serious health issues. I think I heard on the news that about half of them have tuberculosis, and a large fraction of those have incurable tuberculosis. And also bringing in diseases that we haven't had, here in years.
That's fair. Definitely fear-mongering.
Leprosy? I know some people right now that are, they keep being asked by the doctor, have you been to a foreign country? Have you been to a foreign country? Sure. Because this is very strange. No, they don't have to go to a foreign country. The foreigners are coming here.
What if I want to allow them to come here? What if I and a group of other individuals pool our money together and we decide we're going to provide housing at a very affordable rate and or free if necessary to get these people on the ground, to get them started, and that it wouldn't cost the taxpayers a dime?
I'm all for immigration.
Okay.
I'm all for that. But we need to vet them and make sure that they're healthy.
Right. So
somebody else is going to vet them.
So we can't. We can't.
By we, you mean the government? You mean the government? Because I'm not in the government, and I don't want to be in the government. What makes you think some federal bureaucrat knows best, sir?
I think the doctors could, check these people out and make sure. I mean, it's a process, We just can't.
No, I'm not in favor of the government's processes because it's tyranny, sir. It's tyranny.
If you want to accommodate 40 or 50 of them in your home, that's fine.
So you support a police state, then?
No, he just said that it was fine.
Where did that come from?
He just said it was fine.
Yeah, he says it's fine if I jump through the government's hoops and go to his center and have some government doctor look at people and nod his head or, reject them.
Saying we need to vet these people as they come in and go through the process.
Or else you're going to put somebody in a prison cell, right? Like if let's say I don't feel like being vetted.
You guys are absolute heretics. What's coming?
I love it. Thanks for the call tonight, Stephen. 855-450.
If I'm a heretic, then the state's the religion.
It's Free Talk Live. It is.
Get a pen and get ready for an important announcement. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, OIC Tax can help. Our retired IRS agents, tax attorneys, and CPAs are fighting for you. That's what we do here at OIC Tax. We help you survive after the IRS has come knocking. OIC Tax can help you with IRS hardship programs, offer in compromise, installment agreements, and the preparation of past and current tax returns. OIC Tax offers convenient representation for small businesses, corporations, W-2 wage earners, and even SBA loans in default. So stop waiting. Get a fresh start. Call OIC Tax at 1-800-314-4491 now. Bank levies, wage garnishments, and property seizures can be devastating to your life. OIC Tax has an A rating from the Better Business Bureau and is registered with the IRS as an e-file provider. Let OIC Tax help you. 1-800-314-4491. 1-800-314-4491. That's 1-800-314-4491.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything you want right here. Live Saturday edition continuing. The number for you, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Skype username is lrn.fm. And a man on the phone just a moment ago accused us of being heretics, Mark. And
maybe he's accusing you of being a heretin.
That's a little bit different. A heretin is a shrewish woman, a mean, nasty woman. A heretic is someone who... Huh?
I said, Go ahead.
Yeah. Why don't you define heretic, Mark, since you were the one who had the good comeback?
Heretic is somebody who's believes, has religious beliefs that are unorthodox.
That in a lot of ways go against the grain or
orthodoxy.
Orthodoxy.
Yeah. I guess I shouldn't have used that term because unorthodox has come to mean different things.
So,
but yes.
I'll accept that. I think that's a pretty accurate statement.
Well,
because
no, it's not accurate unless unless the government is your religion.
No, it's not my religion, but it is a lot of people's religion. I think there are very, very big similarities.
If the government is their religion, then you're an atheist.
Well, I'm not an atheist because I'm not against theism. I believe in God. I'm a minister in the Shire Free Church. I'm a panentheist specifically.
Maybe a pagan?
But from their perspective, I am a heretic because I'm going against their established viewpoints.
I'll allow it.
And the people who believe in the state probably believe everyone else does too. And so when they hear somebody on the radio talking about how the state is evil and that the state, and when I say the state, I mean the idea of the state, not just the United States, but any state anywhere on the globe. The idea of the state, the coercive state as we know it today, is an evil concept. That's a very heretical kind of statement because they believe in the state. They believe that it's there for good purposes, that if only their people were in charge of the state, that it would be a wonderful renaissance of times, that everything would be better. Just elect their people and they'll fix everything. And, of course, we've seen that doesn't work either, where the Republicans and the Democrats have had basic total control of the United States federal government, and the state continues to grow. It continues to fester. It continues to become larger, more intrusive, more oppressive than it has ever been. But people have a religious belief system in the state, not just the state, but also its aspects or auspices like the military, the court system, the police. There are some things that are And we looked at some of the statistics before. Americans who, even though they don't like Congress, still have respect for things like the military or the justice system in larger numbers because they don't.
Well, the judicial system isn't revered the way you'll hear things like, now I'm a firefighter, by the way. You'll hear cops, firefighters, soldiers. These are America's heroes. First, I think that waters down the terminology hero.
It does, yes.
Secondly, who do these people work for? They do the bidding of politicians.
Correct.
I mean, what could they possibly do but the bidding of politicians? They are people that follow orders.
That's not a very heroic thing by its nature, but there can be heroism within some of those particular job fields. So a police officer can act in a heroic manner. A soldier can act in a heroic manner.
Sure.
But by default, just because they've signed up for the office or signed up for the bureaucracy, doesn't make them a hero.
No, I would concur. And as a firefighter, I think that there's lesser and greater. There's heroes within firefighterdom, and some people haven't had the opportunity to be the heroes. It just hasn't. The opportunity hasn't come across them.
Let's talk to Nathan in Lynchburg, Virginia, listening to WLNI FM. Hey, Nathan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, you say you're a pantheist, right?
A panentheist, yes, sir.
That's what he says.
Well, listen, I didn't want to talk to you about that, but you said it now, and it's like, okay, whatever. I wanted to talk to you about the Republican establishment and what they're doing to Trump, and get your viewpoint on that. This is first-time caller, by the way.
Welcome, sir. Well, what are they doing to Trump right now? I mean, he's the presumptive nominee. Are there some sort of plot afoot to strip that?
You said it right there. You said presumptive. That's the problem right now. I have. He's not presumptive. He got way over the count, 1237.
But he's not nominated until he's nominated.
Right.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
And I've heard there's some sort of, underhanded tactics that they might be able to use to prevent that. So
seems unlikely.
Are you kidding me? They write the rules.
Right. So isn't that what you're calling about? Is the underhanded tactics? Like, what are they doing?
I absolutely am. The establishment right now. Well, they're playing games right now because he came out and said that this judge was Mexican, by the way, which was a political statement, not a racist statement. And if you understood Trump's the way he speaks, you would understand that it wasn't a racist statement. It was strictly political, had to do with the case against him. 100%. It had nothing to do with his race. Not for one moment did I think he was a racist because he said that. It was absolutely political.
I have no idea what he said. I pay no attention to these people.
Just calm down, baby. I'm sorry. My wife wants to listen to. We were just talking about this stuff. And can I ask you one question?
Yeah,
Forget
go
the
for
whole Republican thing, because some of the stuff you guys were talking about earlier with the immigration stuff. You're an immigrationist who
I'm a freedomist.
Okay, go ahead. What?
Okay, well, freedom. You're a freedomist who's also against welfare.
Yeah,
correct. That's kind of that's a contradiction.
No, it isn't.
Not to me.
I'm against. I'm against.
I believe that free people should be able to cross the borders of free countries freely, or you don't have free people and you don't have free countries. Wouldn't you agree?
All right. Do you have a house?
We never heard this one before.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, I know you heard. Okay, well, never mind. If you heard
go ahead. Maybe you're going to put a twist on it. We've never heard.
If I've got a house, can I invite people to it? That's the question I have for you.
You know what? You seem to be so intellectual that you don't even know common sense.
All right, here's your common sense. If I've got a house, can I invite anybody I want to it?
You can absolutely invite anyone you want to it.
Great. I'd like to invite a Syrian refugee.
That's fine. Invite a Syrian refugee.
They're invited right now. Now, you know the reason they can't come?
Okay. After you get the Syrian refugee in your house.
But they're not here because some American bureaucrat is stopping them.
Hey. Just answer the question, though.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
In your house, once he's sleeping on your couch.
All right.
Okay. Once you're feeding him and taking care of him, which is really great, by the way. I'm not saying anything bad about that. It's to be human. It's to help others.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. It's to help our brothers, to help people around us, our neighbors. You seem to be not so much pantheistic, but you seem to be a follower of Christ. I think you might be throwing the pantheistic thing out just to confuse people.
Well, I'm a panentheist.
That's what he's saying.
Mark's a Quaker.
As far as pantheism is concerned.
Mark's a Quaker, though. The guy you were talking to there, he's a Quaker. I'm a pantheist. I'm Ian.
Ian, I want to talk to you. The Quaker's boring. We already know about them. Sorry. But anyways, the pantheistic thing.
Pantheists do have more fun, I agree. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, pantheists definitely have more fun. So you do worship some gods.
Worshipping is a kind of a strange term. I believe that as a panentheist,
you're acting out your belief.
As a panentheist, I believe that everything is God and everything that isn't is also God, meaning the metaphysical and the physical. So I believe that we're all part of that great thing.
Oh, for God's sakes, the
God.
universe is God. I mean, do we have to get so complicated?
Well, that's panentheism, or pantheism is the universe is God. Panentheism also includes the metaphysical, as I understand it. Nathan, I realize you're driving at a point. Hang on. We'll bring you back to that. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Yes, I do have spiritual behaviors in which that I engage that some people could call worship, I suppose, but it's not in the sort of classic sense, the Christian sense.
This is David Cordani, CEO of Cigna. For more than 20 years, Cigna has worked with the March of Dimes to address premature births in the U.S. Premature births cause horrible suffering and cost billions of dollars each year. That's why Cigna is committed to raising funds and awareness through our employees, family, and friends to improve the health of moms and babies. Please join us in supporting the March for Babies. Start your team today at marchforbabies.org.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's PROPURUSA.com.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
No, I can understand the time cue, but what I know is wiser than anything else. Like God created one day, I've created 4 simultaneous days in one rotation of Earth.
At what point did you become the wisest human, Gene Ray?
Well, I've learned everything. When you know everything, there's nothing to know.
Okay, well, now, you said you're getting ready to write a book on it. When can we expect to see it?
No, I don't have a publisher yet. A lot of morning touch it, and so...
you touch it in the morning?
Well, sometimes, not much.
Yeah. How old are you, Dr. Gene Ray?
I'm 78. Well, I told this black lady down in St. Pete, I said, when you die, you're going to come back as a white person. I said, I'm going to come back as a black person. I'm going to hate you honkies.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG Libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves. Toll free here, 855-450-FREE. We've gone from Hillary to a discussion of cannabis to talking about being heretical toward the belief in the state. And that has led to a theological discussion out of nowhere here. We're going to get back to Nathan in Virginia, and your thoughts are certainly welcome. If you want to learn more about the Shire Society, go to shiresociety.com. You can sign the declaration. The Shire Society itself isn't a religious society, but there is the Shire Free Church, which is made up of Shire Society individuals. Not everyone in the Shire Society is a part of the Shire Free Church. But if you want to learn more about the Shire Free Church, Mark, both you and I are ministers in the church, even though you are a Quaker and I'm a panentheist. And we also have a Muslim minister. We've got a Christian minister. And anyway, as long as you believe in peace, you can be a part of the Shire Free Church. You can go to church.shiresociety.com to learn more about the church, or just go to shiresociety.com to sign the Shire Society Declaration and declare your personal independence today. It's you can do it privately or publicly. It is up to you. We don't collect your information. Let's go to Nathan in Lynchburg, Virginia, or back to Nathan in Lynchburg. You had a question or a point you were driving at when it came to panentheism. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a couple questions, first of all?
Sure.
Personal questions. Okay. What religion was your forefathers?
I don't know about my forefathers. I know that my parents were Presbyterians when I was growing up, which is a Christian denomination.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Let's just stop there. That's great. Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Are you God?
Of course. Everybody is God, as defined by the panentheist belief system, which means you are as well, sir.
Paul described God as all in all, so even founding Christians would claim that.
Okay, so as far as pantheism is a really old and ancient religion. It was before Christianity. It was before Catholicism.
These are old ideas. In fact, you'll find pantheistic ideas, as Mark just referenced, in the Bible, in the Quran.
Yes.
You'll find them throughout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The world has been influenced by pantheism for sure. We wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for that belief system. Okay, so can I ask you one more question?
Yes, sir.
Where do you stand with Jesus Christ?
Well, I like Jesus as sort of somebody who is spreading a word of peace, ostensibly. I like the ideas of peace. I think that those are important ideas, and I'm grateful to him for allegedly doing those things. If he did indeed exist, I would like to stand by him for that.
All right. The Quaker guy, he's enlightened already.
Enlightened?
When they get enlightened.
Yeah,
that's a high belief in their church is when they get enlightened. They do tend to sit around till they're enlightened.
Well, I wouldn't call it. They believe in your inner light, so they believe you come equipped with it. Right now, you've got it,
and that you're facilitating it. You're looking for it, or
hopefully you're
making it
observing
brighter.
the light in everyone. Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Nathan, for your call tonight, man. I appreciate the discussion. I don't get very many questions about panentheism here on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people would particularly even want to ask us questions. I mean, it's not like
sometimes
experts.
Well, we're not experts, but we are people who believe in certain ideas and can express them okay. That's why we're on Talk Radio.
Sure.
Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, and I think ideas like this are worth talking about because the typical religions are the ones that get all the press. The bigger, more popular religions are the ones that get all the discussion. Of course, those are frequently misinterpreted and misunderstood. So I'm sure panentheism and Quakerism is also widely misunderstood if people even know anything about them to begin with.
I guess I'd just prefer people keep their religious beliefs mainly to themselves. If they did...
Well, I disagree with that. I think that having discussions about religion is important because we can find different things out about it.
If you're asked...
yeah, sure. If you're asked,
but it's
that's why this isn't even though it's a church that runs the show, we aren't preaching directly religious belief every single night here on Free Talk Live.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. It's a different kind of
boring.
Right. It's a different kind of message. We're preaching a message of peace, which is the goal of the Shire Free Church, is to foster peace.
Yeah, I don't imagine for a second that my religion is of much value to people. I'm certainly not going to kill people over it, and that seems like what people are all about when it comes to their religions. It's like, I know the truth, and you don't know crap. And
my God's better than your God.
I believe just the opposite. Whatever you believe is awesome for you, as long as you keep it to yourself. When you try to shove that stuff down other people's throat, suddenly not interesting anymore.
And here's the thing. It may be true for you, as it is true for others, whatever their beliefs are. It's not necessarily the case that one way is the right way. There are a lot of paths to God, so to speak. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's continue here. We've got Shane. He's in Indianapolis listening to WIBC-FM. Hey, Shane.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air.
Hey, great. A couple points I wanted to make, and I'll try and transition them as smoothly as I can. Initially, I had called, there's a guy down there saying that he didn't think cannabis should be regulated. It's natural, from God, and, all that. My question is, there's a lot of things that are all natural, and I don't hear a lot of people advocating, to legalize opium. Opioid, that's natural growing.
I would like to legalize opium.
I don't hear that argument. I know you would.
Right, okay. I was going to say, if you haven't heard it on this show, let's make that argument right now. Go ahead.
There's the one exception. But to me, it all comes back to, what's the role of government in everyday life? And, segueing into this, immigration issue, it's either you're for it or you're against it. And I know we actually spoke last week, like, well, I want to bring a Syrian refugee over. Well, that's great. And my argument is a person shouldn't be allowed to do that if it puts other people at danger. Right?
What's the danger?
So if it only affects you, then I would be all for that.
What's the
problem
danger?
is, the danger is there's an ideological battle, and and whether anyone really wants to talk about or admit it, I mean, radical Islamic terrorism is a thing.
Yeah. Should we not allow any
immigration
because there might be one that is a radical Islamic terrorist?
Yes. Well, would you eat a bag of M&Ms if you knew one was poisonous? I mean,
cars are dangerous, by the way. I'd like to point that out. So, I mean, if we're going to do things to make sure people are kept safe, let's go ahead and abolish all cars. You in favor of that, too?
Sure, but
no,
cars
you're not.
Are dangerous, but they're not inherently dangerous. We don't know.
When they're hurtling along at 60 miles an hour, you're damn right they're inherently
At this point,
dangerous.
We can see that every year after year, cars kill people. So therefore, we can conclusively say cars are inherently dangerous.
They kill way more people than terrorism and any amount of globally.
Are we not going to drink water? I mean. The point,
right. Well, that's the point.
You're making our point for us.
To you, sir, is that you are, by the sounds of it, what you're saying is you're completely anti-immigration, every issue, every time, and
based on fear.
Yeah, and then that basically is the destruction of our economy. This country was built on immigrants.
Sure, it was. I agree with me. I agree that my forefathers were immigrants, as were yours.
Yes, of course they were.
And that's great. The country's built on that. Up until about the early 1900s, when we became an entitlement nation, we had to put a limit on the amount of immigrants that are coming in here.
That's our whole point.
You think government works? You think government works?
I personally, right now, I think we have way too much government.
But you want government in certain areas. So what makes you think the government's going to do a good job in the areas you think are important, like restricting immigration?
Well, I think if we can figure out a system to maybe provide some.
That's what they've been trying to do.
They've got a zillion systems.
Government is.
No,
it's a system.
That's what they're trying to. That's what they're trying to do, but that's not what they've done. I mean,
okay.
So what would your system look like?
Here's a surprise for you. The government, when you come up with a system, the government's going to F it up. All right?
Sure.
They cannot implement a system well. They are a bureaucracy, and they have no accountability. So that's ultimately what you're saying.
I agree.
Take away the welfare, you'll have the bad seeds eliminated. Stop blowing people up around the world. You won't have terrorists wanting to come here and blow us up.
Shane, I want to know what's your vision? If you want a system, then maybe you've got an idea. We'll find out here in moments. What can be done It seems like a police state is what these people who oppose immigration are asking for, even though they don't realize it. It's Free Talk Live.
Adam Kokesh has agreed to meet Bernie Sanders in any city in America on any day between now and the end of the year for a friendly debate on socialism versus voluntarism, in which Bernie can choose an objective moderator. To sweeten the deal, Roger Ver, a.k.a. Bitcoin Jesus, has offered that upon completion of a 3-hour debate in which both men have equal time, he will donate a total of $100,000 worth of Bitcoin to the charity of each man's choice, $50,000 apiece. Learn more at bernie.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA-certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com, and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Friday, gold is $7 higher at $1,277 per ounce. Silver is up 5 cents at $17.41 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $575 US. In the last week, gold is up over 5% and silver nearly 9%. How are your other investments doing? Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live moments remain. This live Saturday edition here. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. We do the show live 7 nights a week, by the way, so if you didn't get a chance to get to your phone in time to get on the air with us here tonight, no worries. We're back tomorrow night for the live Sunday show. 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time. Even if we're not on your local radio station at that time, you can still call the show, bring up whatever it is that you want to discuss. We've been talking about Hillary Clinton, feminism, as well as the Libertarian Party, cannabis, and more here tonight.
And, of course, immigration, because you can't be on Free Talk Live without immigration.
Immigration, drug policy, and we have Shane on the line in Indianapolis. We're going to bring him back here to continue the discussion. And you can join us here also online at freetalklive.com, where if you support our show, then we ask that you become an amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. It's $5 a month. It helps us spread the ideas of liberty and peace as far and as wide as possible. We're on over 170 radio stations in the United States that carry the show. We've got satellite channels in a few parts of the globe, and you can help make that more possible for us. $5 a month, you get perks. Please go to amp.freetalklive.com. Get signed up there with any major credit card through PayPal or Visa or MasterCard right there on the site. That's amp.freetalklive.com. As we go back to Shane in Indianapolis, Shane admits that the government isn't very good at doing things, but for whatever reason wants to see the government control immigration effectively, even though it doesn't do anything effectively. And he just believes that there's some sort of system that could be created. Shane, do you have a vision for what that system should entail?
So I would say in a perfect world, the federal government should maintain a military, protect the borders and settle disputes between states.
Okay.
And that would be it.
I'm with you. That's where I started too.
Okay. And then on a state level, there has to be some sort of order. I mean, the notion that everyone just is free and we can do whatever we want and,
No, you don't get to do whatever you want so long as what you're doing, if it interferes on someone else's rights, then you don't get to do that.
Right.
But otherwise, you get to do whatever.
If
you
you
should get to do what you
steal
want.
from people and you don't lie, commit fraud, then that's what we're talking about.
Or hurt them violently.
Right. So it goes back to protection of personal property, individuals' property.
Yep.
So if you're going to have, or safety, like you said. So if you have people coming in that that some, not all, but are ill-intentioned, that this bars your right to bring in, a refugee that is potentially,
I don't think that it does, though, because there's people in my neighborhood now that are dangerous, right?
Oh, well,
should I be able to?
Sure,
here, let me ask you this: should I be able to shoot everybody in my neighborhood because one of them might be dangerous?
No.
Then you shouldn't be able to violate everybody's right to travel based on the fact that 1% of them might be terrorists.
But see, that goes back to it's not you don't have a right to be in the United States.
You don't have a right to travel on other people's property, but you do have a right to travel down thoroughfares, things that are created to travel upon.
Well, of course, libertarians believe that all of these thoroughfares should be privately owned, but ultimately you have a right to travel where people allow you to travel. You can exercise that privilege if you want there.
Let me ask you this. Hold on. You've had your chances for battling. Now let me give you a chance.
Okay.
Let me get my shot. All right. So at one point, I was the same as you are on this particular issue. Here's what changed my mind. First off, the government's terrible at whatever it does. If you believe in immigration control, 20 million or whatever number of immigrants got past them up to this point. They're awful at it. I thought that, well, let's see. What if the government just limited it to, they'll keep out the violent criminals, they'll keep out the people with drug-resistant tuberculosis, and they'll keep out the terrorists. Well, for one, you can eliminate the terrorist problem simply by getting the United States military out of 130 countries around the world and 1,000 military bases where people feel threatened, and then suddenly, they'll change their mind. But whatever. How is the government going to stop just the killers and just the people with drug-resistant tuberculosis? They can't stop 20 million people that wanted to get past them. They're incompetent.
They also can't stop drugs from getting into their own prisons, or the red team on the TSA can't be stopped bringing bombs and guns on planes.
All you can do is say, look, we're going to stop the entitlements. If somebody wants to come here and build a better life for themselves, we welcome them with open arms, but they're not going to get one red cent.
Boom.
We're in agreement. See, if you go back to the 80s, the question is, was anyone ever really serious about closing down the borders? Because back in the 80s, everybody, they wanted cheap labor, and this is great. And then
cheap labor is great.
Then we'll tighten up
those borders being closed keeps you in, right? You realize that the wall works both ways.
Right. You know that the East German wall was called the anti-fascism wall, right?
I did not know that.
It was
but
supposed to
I do now.
keep out the Nazis.
Do you feel that walls work? I mean, the old saying, "Fences make better neighbors." I mean, it proves to be true throughout history that some sort of separation, some sort of territory.
You're going to need more than a wall if you want to stop immigration. You're going to have to completely decimate the economy. You'll have to have a total police state within the United States, checkpoints, which they're starting to have in more places, checkpoints everywhere, police house searches, searching people's cars, that kind of thing, to where eventually the economy will suffer and then people will decide to not go here.
I have a different opinion than you do on this one, Ian. I think walls do work to some extent. You will see a diminishment of people who want to work hard and build a better life for themselves if you put a stinking wall up on the border. I don't want that. I want a country that people can come here, work hard, and build a better life for their families. Yes, I think welfare stands and entitlement programs stand in the way of that. I want to eliminate those, and that's a hell of a lot cheaper than some stinking wall.
Good discussion, Shane. Thanks for the call tonight. Let's go to Evan in Indianapolis, listening to WIBC. Hey, Evan.
Hi, guys.
Hey, you're on the air.
So I wanted to talk about a point you had earlier.
Yes.
About the whole state thing, but I did want to get on this wall.
Let's start with the state. We've talked about the wall a million times. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was hearing your guys' discussion, and it kind of sort of sounded a little bit like communism, just a little bit.
What part?
Well, the whole not having a state.
No, that's not communism. You have to have a state in order to have communism, generally.
Okay, it depends on your definition of communism.
In the typical iterations of communism.
The communism is talked about in Communist Manifesto is everything is communally owned.
Right,
now,
you could have voluntary communism. That's true.
They're really not clear as to where these, where community ends and begins, but everything is owned by the community.
Communism is defined as from each according to his ability to each according to his need, and there's usually some sort of force used by some kind of state to supposedly enforce that, but of course it ends up being the elites that are in control and they, aggregating wealth to themselves, just like in the current society. But no, I don't support communism as a method of economic organization. I support the free marketplace, which would allow for someone to have a commune if they wanted to, and it would also allow private property ownership and trade and things like that.
I will say that we have the political boundaries that we have today, and they are realities. However, I think you'll agree with me, all of those boundaries were created by politicians and by militaries. They were created by organizations of force. That's what governments are. They enforce things, and thus they're organizations of violence. Those lines were drawn by violence. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, great.
Especially colonizing Africa and everything, drawing the boundaries.
When you see straight lines, you better watch out.
Yeah. I didn't know there was a straight line on a map. I was like...
Yeah. Well, the 49th parallel has been pretty well undisputed here in the United States. But
hey, Evan, if you want to talk about the other thing, the wall, call us again tomorrow night. We'd love to talk to you about that right out the gate at 7 o'clock at night Eastern. But I want to get Bob in here. Thanks for the call, Evan. Bob on the line in the Carolinas. You're on Free Talk Live. Hey, Bob.
Hi, thank you for taking me in.
Yes, sir.
I was just calling with regards to a point you made before about not being sure if Jesus existed historically or not. And I just wish to point out that there's New Testament scholars in academia of many different religions, Christian, Jewish, atheist, etc. And it's widespread consensus that Jesus existed. It's very marginal to believe he did not exist based on all the corroborating lines of evidence.
Well, okay, so we can say that somebody that they're calling Jesus existed, but the difficulty is that there's this huge picture painted around him.
I think he was washing dishes over at Pedraza's.
Well, the question is, when the person is described as having done all these things and then they didn't do them, are they the person that's described, even if they are, some prophet? In all likelihood, Jesus, who I believe is a Messiah, but he was a Pharisee. But the fact is that these Gospels that were written and edited inside of the 2nd century, well, Pharisees had fallen out of favor, so they made it seem as though Jesus was against the Pharisees. That's really
keep
important.
in mind, they did find a Gospel of Mark that they were able to date back to 90 CE in Egypt. On top of that, through textual analysis, most scholars, again, many of them
but that's
atheists,
60
agree that most
years
of the
after
Gospels
Jesus
written
was
in-
dead.
I'd just like to clarify.
Elvis has been dead
Were
less
written
time
by
than
70
that.
Were written by 70 A.D.
Thanks for the call, Bob. We're
Written
out of
by
time
70
for the discussion tonight. To me, it doesn't matter whether Jesus lived or didn't. It's the teachings of peace that he brought, or that character brought, whether he was real or not, is irrelevant to me. The ideas of peace are what matter. And we'll see you tomorrow night online in the meantime at freetalklive.com.
Adam. Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
If you want to move to the free state and you're looking for some real estate.
Oof, I think we've all had enough of that jingle, don't you? If you're going to invest in property in New Hampshire, it just makes sense to support a liberty-friendly realtor. Call Mark Warden of Team Porcupine Real Estate for investment property or rentals in the Free State. Or visit his website. Come on, you know it.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
The live edition of Off the Air Live is next after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, June 11th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.33 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,274 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $587. Antiwar.com reports, in addition to a planned increase in airstrikes reported on Thursday, the White House on Friday confirmed plans to loosen restrictions on ground troops, particularly the special forces occupying Afghanistan, with an eye towards increasing their direct combat role. Press Secretary Joshua Earnest said that the U.S. troops will be more proactive in their operation, and while the U.S. is still officially listing the troops engaged in the occupation as non-combat advise and assist troops, they will also engage in occasional combat operations alongside Afghan forces. While plans had at one point been to end the occupation by now, the U.S. has put troop withdrawals on hold repeatedly as the Taliban gains more territory. With the Afghan military's losses mounting, the new U.S. commander, Lieutenant General John Nicholson, was keen to ramp operations back up. Despite that, Earnest insisted the U.S. is not restarting the combat role, irrespective of the combat they're planning to engage in, and are going to try to keep up with the pretense that the Afghan war, some 15 years in, is at least sort of over. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports the